All right, y'all. Welcome to a special podcast edition of Hanging with July. What we're gonna do is we're gonna be going over some playoff talking. We're gonna be talking Scottie Pippen. We're gonna be talking Damien Lilliard. Special podcast edition of Hanging with July. What we're gonna do is we're gonna be going over some playoff talking. We're gonna be talking Scottie Pippen. We're gonna be talking. All right. We're gonna be talking Scottie Pippen. We're gonna be talking Damian Leonard. At the end of the show, I'm gonna give my top five personal favorite LA Clippers players of all time. Gonna have some special guests on the podcast, of course, and we're gonna have a little preview of the upcoming NFL season. What's going on? My first guest, I'm gonna bring on Chris Joseph, big New Orleans Saints fan and Pelicans fan. Let me see. Let me bring him on. What's up, Chris?
What's going on, man?
What's up? What's up? What's up?
Chilling.
All right, man. So we're gonna jump right into it. We're gonna jump right into it. I think you made a comment. I gotta find it. You were saying we're gonna talk about your boy Kyle Kuzma. I forgot what was the exact comment. You remember it?
I know it was something about the Lakers fans thinking they about to get every superstar and just offer Kyle Kuzma, and I got a couple, bright ideas who they could actually land for Kyle Kuzma.
All right. Let us hear it. Let me hear those ideas you got going on.
But first off, though, you gotta talk slow to these people. You feel me? Like the Lakers fans, I get it. You hear me? It's Los Angeles. Every player destination, like who don't want to live in LA is LA. You feel me? I get what they're saying. So everybody, big name that come up. But the issue is we talking about trades and not free agency, right?
Mm-hmm.
So in that case, the team's gonna do what's best for them, and not exactly what's best for associate Damian Lillard. I mean, they might look out for him, but it's not. He ain't got the final decision, especially since I looked up and see he ain't don't necessarily have a no trade clause.
No, he
So
don't. He don't.
he gonna go where they send him. So the first, like I'm gonna be reasonable with them. They're gonna disagree, but we were talking about who they gonna offer. They're gonna say Kyle Kuzma, Contavious Caldwell Pope, Alex Caruso, something like that. To be real with you, son, like one of the people they gonna get for Kyle Kuzma, like Thanasis Antetokounmpo, somebody like him, Gianna's brother, people like him, people in that nature, because like Kyle Kuzma ain't necessarily bringing you no big fish like Damian Lillard. If you get what I'm saying, no superstars and nothing like that. That dude, like as good as he started out being, he completely fell off. Not fell off, but he ain't what the Lakers fans think he is. That's all I'm gonna say. His defensive IQ, his bad shot selection, and his defense in general, man. So it's just like Kyle Kuzma. Come on, bro. Like I get what you might have to. If you trade Kyle Kuzma, they're gonna have to attach another whole nother pick with him just to get rid of him at this point.
I agree with you. I agree with you. I ain't gonna lie. I fell into that Kyle Kuzma trap when when him and Brandon Ingram was on the same team, and Lakers end up sending Brandon Ingram to New Orleans. I was like, man, New Orleans, they got the wrong player. They should have got Kuzma instead of Ingram. I took a couple of punches for that statement, but I took him to the jaw. It's all good. But yeah, Kyle Kuzma definitely let me down. He definitely let me down.
No, but see, that's the thing. At that point, like when they was talking about the trade for Kuzma, because I think the initial trade when they was trying to offer your boy Dell Demps, it was Kuzma, Ingram, Hart, and Lonzo Ball, wasn't it? So
Yeah.
at that point, Denzel said Kuzma would be better than Tatum, man. Dude. But no, at that point, like the Kuzma thing, that was almost a solid trade offer right there with the Kuzma thing. But like he kind of exposed himself the last year, especially last year in the finals. Man, Shannon Sharp was about to cuss that boy out like 100 times.
Yeah, I don't know what Kuzma was doing out there, but what I was gonna say. So yeah, who your top destinations for? Who you say that's gonna get Dame or that's gonna get Kuzma?
Like who, the top destinations for Dame? Oh man, so oh my goodness, I just as far as the Lakers go, I don't really see it. Like I said, that's a destination for being in LA. But like, what can they offer? Like, we got all their picks. The talent ain't really that to offer what they looking for. Like, Portland came out said they looking for four first, huh?
Yeah.
Well, we got all four, y'all. We got all four of the Lakers picks, so that's out. another team, like if we would have had this conversation last year, I would have said a fire destination would have been Philly, like a straight up trade for Ben Simmons. But after this playoffs and the way he just looked
Now,
like he's been all kind of exposed, like he ain't got no work ethic, he ain't trying to get better during the offseason or nothing like that. I really don't see that one unless they're gonna package Tobias Harris and a couple other people. But man, like not to be biased or nothing, like they say they want full first round picks. To be honest, who got them all? Oklahoma and New Orleans. You hear me? Like Oklahoma got like 17. Oklahoma City.
I mean, I think Philly at first it would have been a good straight up trade, like if you said we said last year Ben Simmons for Dame, but now like Ben Simmons he probably worth the CJ McCollum. Now he ain't worth no Dame.
Yeah, that's what
he
I
not
was
worth,
thinking too. Yeah.
he not worth Dame no more. Hey, but that was who said that was Mike Jones that said Denzel said Kuzma would be better than Tatum. Mike, Mike Jones putting Denzel on blast.
Man, Denzel had some wild takes with Kuzma a while ago too. We ain't gonna bring that up. I'm gonna wait till he on the podcast and let him defend himself. Yeah, because I do remember him saying that.
And that was Blake Donato. He said Kuzma's still a serviceable player, hard to get going when you play being LeBron and Davis. Well, to respond to Blow Donato, I think Melo, since Melo gonna go there, I think that he gonna be Kuzma replacement.
Oh, Melo going to the Lakers? That's what they
Well,
said?
that's the Lakers interested in him, and he interested in the Lakers.
Now, Lakers down bad because they could have snatched that man up 2 years ago. They could have made something work. Lakers down bad for that. LeBron.
But yeah, LeBron, he said he had to see how Melo worked. He had to see if Melo still had it.
That's cold.
But
That's supposed to be his boy.
But I think Philly, if they want to get Dame, they're gonna have to give up Kuzma. I mean, not Kuzma, not Kuzma. They're gonna have to give up
Nobody
Simmons.
picking no Kuzma, man, except the.
They're gonna have to give up Simmons.
Yeah.
And they're gonna have to give us Seth Curry, and we're gonna have to get a pick. If they want Dame, they got to give up a lot.
Yeah, and I'm not sure how they pick situation looking. I know they got some talent they could offer. They could. I mean, I'm pretty sure Portland to still take Ben Simmons because I mean, don't get me wrong, he's still 6'10" and a solid defender and got point guard skills. You see what I'm saying?
Oh yeah, definitely.
But I don't know how they pick situation looking, but they do got some talent they could offer. So of course they gonna be one of the destinations for sure.
So if not Philly, what do you think the next place where Dame will be willing to go?
Well, what would he be willing to go? Of course, the big markets, the Knicks, they're saying Golden State might try to make an offer too. That is because they got 7 and 14 picks.
Everybody trying to get Golden State trying to give everybody Andrew Wiggins. Man, I don't want Andrew Wiggins. I don't want.
Yeah, he in that Kyle Kuzma category too.
I don't want Andrew Wiggins, man. Nah, I know Mike Jones has said Wiggins did more than 2 games than Ben Simmons did in the playoff. Well, last time I seen Wiggins in the playoffs with when they had Jimmy Butler over there in Minnesota, Wiggins wasn't good either. So I don't want Wiggins either.
Wait, ain't Wiggins averaging like 20 a game or something like this year? I mean, something out, but
he averaged 20 a game in Golden State being the second option.
Right.
But I mean, 20 a game. Matter of fact, this probably his best season. If you now that I think about it, hold on. Let me pull up. Let me pull up Andrew Wiggins. I don't know. I'll pull him up and I'll let you know. But okay, so we got Philly, possibly Golden State, and I mean you say New York. Who would New York give up for Damien Lilliard?
Oh man, so they got some of them. That's another thing. I'm just saying New York because of the basically it's New York. You know what I'm saying? Dame would obviously want to go play in New York, but I don't know how I'm not sure how the draft pick situation looking either. But I'm no. Who would they give up? Probably quickly. I know he was a first round pick last year, the year before that or something. And I know they ain't coming up off Randall because obviously they're gonna try to pair him with something. Pair him with Dame.
They're not coming off Randall.
Yeah, as far as Knicks, I only say the Knicks is because of destination. I don't really see them having too much talent or nothing to offer too, because especially if they're not coming up off Randall. I know they ain't gonna throw Derrick Rose and nothing like that because Portland gonna have to try to rebuild. So what they want with him?
I don't know if New York have enough.
Yeah, same here. I know.
Honestly, when you think about if you think about trades about which teams will actually come out good, if Portland want to come out good, I think they should go after Ben Simmons, but not just Ben Simmons. Philly gonna have to give us way more. Even though Ben Simmons way younger, he not. Damian Lillard is way better.
Right.
Um, and I'm thinking about. I mean, Kemba Walker. I don't know. I'm thinking about Boston. Kemba Walker, maybe Marcus Smart. I don't know.
Oh, Boston just shipped Kimber Walker. Huh? Ain't he in
Oh yeah,
Oklahoma?
yeah. OKC. I'm tripping here.
Yeah,
OKC.
see, that's what I'm saying. Oklahoma
Yeah,
got
yeah.
them
He
picks and they got
OKC.
Kimber. But man, you know my main destination, do not to be biased or nothing, but I'm just keeping it real, dog. We got offer all-star, even though I'm kind of skeptical on shipping Brandon Ingram out right now. But we also got the 10th pick this year. We got about 12 more behind that the next 4 years. We
That
got
might
signing
be
trade Lonzo Ball.
that might be our
You
best
saying?
bet. Y'all might be
It
our
might
best
be.
bet
That's what
for
I'm saying.
Pelicans.
Everybody's talking about, he's not going to the Pelicans. But dog, if Portland will do what's best for them, we got a whole bunch of young talent. We got 12 picks, and we got an all-star. Who can match that? Let's be real.
No,
And,
yeah, I
when I
think
say
that'll
young
be.
talent and an all-star, all these dudes 23 years old and younger. And we're
I
going to
just
throw
think
about 5
that
or 6 picks. So,
Dame don't want to go to New Orleans, and I was gonna say, and I don't think Portland gonna do him like that. I don't
man,
think Portland.
the play come play with Zion, son. I know New Orleans ain't necessarily a top destination, but if we talk about if Portland trying to do what's best for them, we like talk about Nikhil. That's as a starter, he averaged 20 a game. You see what I'm saying? Lonzo, he
Mhm.
up and coming point guard. Everybody's trying to trade for him. You got Jackson Hayes, another promising center, and the All-Star Brandon Ingram. As far as talent wise, they start to rebuild all over. Plus a top 10 pick this year, more picks. But again, would Dame want to come to New Orleans? That's a good question. But it's like we offer Zion for him to play with too.
Hey, I want to get into something that Steven Jackson has said, and who posted this in the group? Justo Brown. He posted this. Steven Jackson. Now y'all gonna listen to me when I say he's the best player on the Bucks. He's talking about Chris Middleton. Ben saying this. The boy can flat out get to it and shoot free throws. And then he put a little laughing emoji. I guess he was just throwing that at Giannis. What you think about Steven Jackson saying that Chris Middleton is the best player on the Bucks?
Man, I 100% agree. Like I posted in the group a few weeks ago, we don't clown Giannis far enough. You hear me? That boy is 6'11" and can strong and can dunk. That's it. See what I'm saying? So like Chris Middleton, and I know he a hooper. He just in one of them situations where like Scottie Pippen on the Bulls, he just happened to be playing behind Michael Jordan. Well, Middleton just happened to be on the team with Giannis that's getting all the attention. See what I'm saying? But in go-to like clutch situations, you need like a 3-pointer, like even clutch free throws. Middleton gonna hit that. Middleton can come through for you. Well, Giannis, oh boy, man, Giannis he's 6'11". I can give you that. So man, if I'm trying to do like. If you need the game tied up or one clutch situation, of course you're going to Middleton. He probably is he definitely is the best player on the team. If you ask me,
I think Brandon Richard said Middleton is definitely the closer. Like
yeah, definitely the closer should be.
if the game close at the end of the game, they gonna go to Middleton. They definitely gonna go to Middleton. What's up, SB? Congratulations on the baby, man.
Thank you. I appreciate it, my boy.
Oh, that's. Hey, I didn't even realize you was in our sports group, man. I seen your name.
Yeah, I'm in the group.
Oh, I didn't even know that. I didn't even know that.
Sport debaters, yeah.
Oh,
Yep,
yeah.
I'm definitely in the group.
Yeah, we were just talking about your boy Steven Jackson. He had put that Middleton the best player on the Bucks. What you think about that?
That's Chris Middleton team, man. I keep telling y'all, man. That's Chris Middleton team, man. Giannis ain't the closer. Just all of this is Giannis ain't the closer, but he can carry the load. Because sometimes when you got to close the game, they're gonna pack the paint and you got to hit jump shots. And Giannis not gonna, even though he hit them 2 fadeaways, he ain't gonna close the game out like that consistently.
Man, I put it this way, you know what I mean? Like, let's say you're in a clutch situation. Anytime a team will look to you to purposely foul on purpose, knowing you're gonna go to the free throw line and probably come up short, you ain't no way you could be the best player on the team. No matter how talented you is, no matter how fast you is, no matter how much you could dunk. So the ball can't go to your hands in crunch time because you might cost the team a waste of possession. How are we gonna depend on you? We could put the ball in Chris Middleton's hands and he could come through. We could put the ball in Drew's hands, he could come through, even though he might miss a few free throws or two. But Chris Middleton, man, he more likely to come through than Giannis will.
Yep. And then the crazy part about it is Giannis gonna do his thing against the Hawks because they don't have nobody that can literally guard him. They had the Kawhi they could throw at him. They had the KD. You had a bigger body. Atlanta don't really have that big body where they can throw at Giannis. So Giannis gonna do his thing. But we done seen this story before when you actually got somebody who can consistently guard him. Of course, if somebody said Middleton can't carry your team, but he gonna have to be the closer for this team.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's definitely.
So what y'all think? Looking at these playoffs, I got Milwaukee winning the championship now. What if Middleton and Giannis go to the finals and Middleton MVP? Do you think that's a stain on Giannis' legacy? You wasn't really the leader of that team; it was Middleton.
It's gonna be like the Steph Curry effect. He's gonna get his respect as a great player, but it's still gonna be well, you ain't got no Finals MVP. So it's gonna be like that. So yeah. And
especially if it's coming down the situation I said, Middleton closing out the games during the finals. Man, we can't even for instance when that net series when everybody was looking, Giannis wouldn't even guard KD. When people was about to start questioning him right there. Another clutch situation. So if you can't come through in clutch situation, is Middleton basically the one closing out games? Then man, we're gonna have to start looking at him like that.
Yeah, Middleton won that game yesterday. Last night. Middleton, man, I ain't never seen him on fire like that. He hit every shot.
The boy said we forgot all the games that Middleton disappeared.
But he's not the number one guy though. He don't supposed to be doing what he's doing though. But he's
supposed to be the sidekick. That's supposed to be Giannis closing out games and putting people away like Middleton did last night.
Yep,
he's a 2-time MVP, right?
Yep, exactly. Hey, I ask people this all the time. Tell me any time ever in NBA history where somebody can win back-to-back MVPs and Defensive Player of the Year in one of those MVP years and not be considered the best player in the league. He not even considered. People be like, no. People put 3 people ahead of him, and that don't make no sense. If I tell you somebody won back-to-back MVPs, he putting up these outrageous numbers. You he got to be the best player in the league. No. He's not even close.
Because, man, the thing about it, Giannis, he's just a physical mismatch, and that's about it. Tell you the truth, that's about it. He's too quick for, the bigger people that try to guard him, and he's too big for guards or anybody else trying to guard him. That's just the only thing he got going for himself, dog. Anytime you can pack the paint and take away his jump shot and completely take him out of the game, that's man, I know it's a different sport, but that's what I be saying about the whole Derrick Henry thing. You one-dimensional, we could take you away that easily, dog. You can't be the best at your position or in your sport. You just can't be.
Yep. I definitely agree with that.
All right, so what y'all think about what Trae Young is doing in the playoffs right now? I mean, he got slowed down last night in the fourth quarter. I mean, I think he made 1 3-point shot. Do y'all think the Hawks even have a chance to push this series to 7 games?
Yes, indeed. I always the reason being because the way the Hawks team is built, the way I see it, in this NBA, as long as you got that many shooters, you always got a chance, no matter who you playing against, dog. And I know they went a little cold last night. That happens every now and then. But as long as the Hawks can spread the flow with every single lineup, they bench lineup, they starting lineup, when they mix the starters with their bench, no matter what, they're gonna always have 3 or 4 shooters on the court at all times, sometimes 4 to 5. And as long as you can stretch the flow like that, even though Milwaukee do play defense, you always got a chance as long as you can hit the 3, especially with the NBA pace and space the way they play today. So the Hawks definitely got a chance to take the next game and stretch it to 7.
Yeah, and then I'll say this part reason why I had to make sure I pulled up. I know I had a baby, so that's why I've been missing out of action for a while. So I'm slowly but surely getting back in. Because Wick was I was talking smack about his Hawks, and now I'm at the point where I won't doubt the Hawks no more. The Bucks should win this series within 5 games, maybe 6, but I will never doubt the Hawks again because this one team that showed they can go in a hostile environment and win games. I'm not worried about them keeping up offensively, but they got to be better defensively and cut down on the turnovers because that's what killed them. And they showed why they're a young team don't have any experience because once the turnovers was happening, they didn't know what to do. And every other time, so Milwaukee is on we get a high turnover rate or we let Trae Young shoot the long threes. If he hit, we're going to have to live with it. But if he missed, we off to the races. And you see they took advantage of it with Giannis because ain't nobody stopping Giannis in a fast break.
Right, that's another thing too, man. Let's be honest, dude. Nobody really expected this out of the Hawks right now. The whole Eastern Conference Finals thing, bro. They is a young team. Like last year, did they even make the playoffs? Last year, they did.
Nope.
Did they? No, they did exactly. So they just coming out of nowhere and go straight to the Eastern Conference Finals. So I mean, while they want to win, everything they're doing right now is just butter, bro. They need to just build on this on the off season. You know, try to make a pitch to Kawhi like people was expecting. Other than that, just keep coming back stronger. Even though it's not over, it's far from over. Like I said, man, the boys can shoot the lights out. All it takes is a couple of them boys to get hot the next game, and it's going a whole nother way.
Yeah, and they show they can win. Like I said, they could get one in Milwaukee. Well, I think they did get one in Milwaukee.
Yeah, they got one in Milwaukee.
Yeah, so they can show they can win in it. So you're not scared of no hostile environment. That's one thing I can say. They got a good. Trae Young is definitely a great leader as a player. That like they don't look shook playing in any hostile environment.
And that's another thing I always point out, son, coaching. I got to give a big shout out to Nate McMillan, dude.
Yes, yeah.
Man, he got them boys looking good to see they're such a young team. Like I said, you went into Milwaukee and got to win. Went into Philly and got to win. You know what I'm saying? So that man, that's straight coaching. I know you're gonna have that job on lock, even though he's just the interim right now. I know that job is his.
He better. This is gonna be a ride in Atlanta.
Hey, so what I was about to say. Oh yeah, so at the beginning of the playoffs, I had the Hawks going to the second round and pushing Philly to 7, but I actually had Philly winning that 7 game because like my boy Wilk said during the season, even though the Hawks started off slow and before they hired Nate McMillan, they starters ain't played long together at all.
Right. Yeah, they still missing Cam Reddish and Hunter, huh?
Cam Reddish just came back.
Yeah, Cam Reddish. He just came back, but I don't think he played last game though. If I don't remember him seeing. I think he played game 2, but I don't think he played last game.
Wait, so they down 2 shooters and still? Oh man, that's crazy.
That's one thing I like about the Hawks. They did sign a lot of players this offseason. They made a lot of big moves for their team. So
they built around Trae Young exactly how he's supposed to do it, dog.
So let's see what I wanted. Okay, so this is what I wanted to talk about next. I just wanted to get your opinion on the Damien Lilliard situation. If I think he want to go to the Lakers, but I don't think the Lakers have enough to give him. Well, what you think about that?
Okay, first of all, Portland. Let's talk about Portland because you guys barely get superstars. Only way y'all get superstars if you draft them. So y'all should be begging, pleading, kissing the ground that Damien Lillard walk on that he don't leave. Like, I get it. It's like they want Damien Lillard to gracefully. I believe like the organization want Damien to leave because they don't want to waste his career, which I can respect that from the organization, but from the fan base, don't be acting like Dame. Without Dame, you're nothing. Lottery team, bottom of you'll be the. I guarantee if Dame leave this year, Portland will probably be in the running for the first round pick next year. So they gotta appreciate a star when they have it. No, he ain't gonna go to the Lakers. He just signed a max contract. So, he just signed his contract. I believe it was a max.
Yeah, he this year gonna be his first year for his new contract.
Yeah, so all that he only gonna go to the Lakers. He can't. Everybody thinking like he can decide where he want to go. I don't believe he got a no trade clause in his contract.
He don't.
So he can go anywhere because now every team know if I trade for Dame Lillard, he can go anywhere. They can trade him to the OKC Thunder if they wanted to. Because they got it ain't like he got that like flexibility saying like I'm not gonna sign here. So and then they trying to blame the Chauncey Billups thing on him. Like that's not whatever Chauncey Billups did the passes between Chauncey. Nobody complained. Like keep your star happy and let them want to stay there because Portland, nobody's running to Portland. That's why Dame possibly want to leave, and I believe Dame don't want to leave. He want to stay in Portland, but I feel like they're gonna force his way out of the fans. Gonna make him want to leave, and that's gonna be the biggest mistake they made. And they're going to play him like a villain, too, which is going to be bogus.
Yeah, as a Portland fan, I 100% agree with everything you just said. And I also think that, if Dame want to leave, we deserve to let him leave, without being no kind of bashing or anything because he put his heart and soul into us. Like, he gave us everything.
He did,
but, the only thing is, he would want to go to the Lakers. I know 100%. I'm like 90% sure he would want to go to the Lakers, but the Lakers just don't have anything to give us for him. Like me, honestly, like I was just telling Chris, I would try for Ben Simmons and Seth Curry. Like I would go after them two with a couple of picks.
That'll be nice for Philly too, though.
That'll be an even trade.
Both teams will win. Like both teams will come out winning. And we'll get to see CJ McCollum as that number one option to see if he could carry the scoring load. Or with Norman Powell, we got to resign Norman Powell because he's a free agent. But we would definitely resign Norman Powell. We trade Dame.
Mm-hmm.
What else I want to talk about? Oh yeah, y'all was saying Giannis. This is why my homeboy Zay, he had posted something in the group. I'm trying to look for it. He was saying that Giannis has scored 30 points 9 times in this NBA playoffs, and he was saying that KD only did it 12 times. So I guess he was focusing because he's a big Giannis fan. So I guess he was saying that Giannis is a better scorer than KD. Chris, what you think about that, man?
I shouldn't even entertain that, but said something here. You asked me, I'm gonna go ahead and say.
I don't know. You said what? Let me make sure I ain't nothing in here. I heard what you said. He gotta be drinking or something. He has to be drunk.
Hey, y'all look at the screen. That's the post right there.
Let me see. Hold on. Let me. I got to zoom in on this to make sure I'm reading.
Get your mans.
Who man is this, bro? Zay. I'm about to tag you as soon as we over with this, dude.
Zay Tycoon.
Hey, put him in timeout out the group for like a couple weeks. Saying that nonsense. What's wrong with him, man? That man just said, "What? A dude who can't shoot a jump shot is a better scorer than Kevin Durant."
Forget the jump shot. You can't hit a free throw, man.
Get a free throw. People, this is what we got to start realizing. Like, okay, Giannis is definitely our generation Shaquille O'Neal. But the problem that Giannis gets so much flack is because Giannis is not a big. Technically, he's a 3. We don't look at him as a big. We look at him as a big, just a general big. Then he'll probably get more respect. But he didn't come in the league as a big. People forget. You can go back and look at Giannis' rookie year. He had a jump shot. He used to shoot like how KD used to shoot when he was skinny, but he bulked up, and now I guess he can't shoot anymore. But you trying to tell me a guy that's Kevin Durant can score every way possible, with Giannis only got run to the hole or that spin move dunk is a better scorer. He only got 2 moves in his bag. We just talk about just hoop skills wise alone, just hooping alone. He got 2 moves in his bag, and you tell me he's the best. Stop it, man. We get too hyped with this recency bias. We get too hyped with seeing what's now, and we just don't want. They just want to push somebody forward to be better, and I'm like, no, man, we got to stop lying to ourselves. Like, no, he got to be a Bucks fan, or he was drunk when he wrote that.
Man, if Giannis Antetokounmpo was a PlayStation 2 controller, he have an R2 button and a square button.
That's it.
Run and dunk. That's it, dude. So, if you can't do half the things KD can do. And don't get me wrong, I'm not trying to knock Giannis or nothing. I mean, the 2-time MVP for a reason. You see what I'm saying? But like I said, he's a physical mismatch, and that's about it. So when teams get on that, like when teams in the playoffs game plan against that, they're going to pack the paint. I wish you would pack the paint on KD. I wish you would take a step back on Kevin Durant. Okay, come on, man. That's not even a question. As great as Giannis is, dude, you ain't no Kevin Durant. Kevin Durant could score on you from anywhere on the court, can pull up from anywhere, can beat you 3 or 4 different ways, including hitting the free throw.
And then Giannis, this is what we got to understand too. Giannis taking advantage, which is not his fault because there's something he can't control. How the league is played now. There's no real bigs in the league. So if there's no real bigs on the league, and I'm too fast for big man, and I'm too big for small forwards, I'm gonna dominate. How many great shot blockers is really in the league, or really great paint protectors? There's not that many. There's not many at all.
Defense ain't even really a focus of the league no more. Nope. Tell you the truth. So he should be doing exactly what he's doing. He should be.
CA, you on CA?
Yo, what's going on?
Yeah,
what's CA?
What you think about this Giannis
KD comparison go? Where does Giannis KD comparison come from?
It come from our sports group. Dude, he a big Giannis fan. He was basically saying Giannis is a better player than KD.
I don't think it's a fair comparison. I think they play 2 totally different positions. It's not a fair comparison.
I mean, Giannis a 3.
Giannis is not a 3. Giannis is not a 3. He's not a 3. He's a big man. He's not a wing. He's not a wing.
Did we start labeling him a big man because he couldn't hit a jump shot?
No, he's not a wing. That's not what he is.
So he always been a big man ever since
they tried to make him a wing, but he's not a wing.
He's a wing, bro.
No, he's not a wing.
They play him at big man because he don't have no arsenal.
He's a big man. They play him like a wing, but he's a big man. That's what he is.
I mean, his skill set says big man technically, but I thought he did come in the league as a small forward.
Kevin Garnett came in the league as a small forward. Do we consider him a small forward?
He's a forward.
Yes, that's exactly what Giannis is.
But
look, we didn't make the comparison. You tell that to your boy.
So can Kevin Durant play the forward? Because Kevin Durant been playing the forward this year.
In the league today,
Kevin Durant came in the league as a guard, but you just had to be 7 foot.
Yeah. How the league is set up today, he can play the forward though.
Yeah, he may start the forward position, but that's not really what his role in the offense is. He's not a forward.
So why isn't it a fair comparison?
To me, it's not a fair comparison because they're two different. They play 2 different positions. Like to me, KD's an actual guard or wing, and Giannis is a big.
But they still play him at wing because now how the game is set up today is really only one big on the floor. Like the power forward is a wing now.
And so much positionless basketball, man, you can't really focus on like who position at what. As far as I'm concerned, and 4 players on the court.
I don't consider Giannis a wing. So when I'm talking about Giannis, I don't expect him to do wing things. Like, I don't expect him to have a bag because he's not a wing.
Yeah,
so I agree. I agree. That's when I don't talk about Giannis as I'm talking about a wing. That's just
I agree with you on that, but I'm saying CA3 though. You can agree that they made him a big because how he play. He can't play like a wing because his game is not that versatile. So they had to switch.
They tried to make him something he wasn't. He's not a wing. Yeah. He's not a wing. Yeah.
Y'all see this list I got up on the screen? My homeboy Chris posted this: the top 10 teams of all time. SB, I'm gonna start off with you. What would you change on this list?
You need to add 2 more Bulls teams on that, then it'll be all right.
Hey, let me guess. I'm gonna just guess. Are you talking about the 91 Bulls and the 98 Bulls?
Any one of them, because you can take any one of them. You can take that Bucks team off, and you probably take that Spurs team off. Every other team I'm cool with. But the list is great though. If you kept it the way it was, let's say that first. I'll bet the list is a great list. But if you want to be like more in depth to it, you can take the Spurs off and that 71 Bucks team off and put 2 of the 90s Bulls teams on there.
All right, what about you, Chris?
Man, first off, I'm flipping 1 and 2 because as good as the Warriors was, they came up short.
Hey, look, I'm a Bulls fan, but that Warrior team, Oh wait, that's the 73.
No, that's the one after they got KD.
That's the first
KD. I'm tripping. I'm thinking.
I'm a Bulls fan, but I can't even now. That team was different. I'll say they could be number 1.
What about you, CA?
I also feel like there's 1 or 2 more Celtics teams that could possibly be on here, man. They had a hell of a run in the 80s, right?
Yeah, they did.
Right, man. But I'm still taking the 96 Bulls number 1, dude. 72-10 and a championship.
Can't beat that.
Yeah, can't beat that.
That's tough. That's tough to say. I don't know. I don't know about this. I don't know about the 71 Bucks. I'm not sure about that.
That's Big O and Kareem.
I understand that, but Big O wasn't. He was a shell of himself by then.
So he was
having to win the championship.
The 2016 Cavs, I'm pretty sure there's another team that that was probably a little bit better than them.
Nah, you got to put them on that because they beat technically the best.
You're right.
That's really the only reason they're on there, honestly.
Yeah, so that's you're right.
You have to.
Let's hold on. Let's be real,
What's up, Sean?
What's up, y'all? The 2016 Cavs don't belong nowhere on this list.
Yeah. All right.
Let's be real.
I agree with you.
You're missing the 83 Sixers. You're missing the 72 Knicks. You're missing the 72 Lakers, who went 69-13, won 33 games in a row.
So who you taking off?
They should not be on it.
Yeah,
the 2016 the Cleveland, obviously. I would see I think that 71 Bucks team, they were really good, but Oscar was, basically towards the tail end of his career.
Yeah, he was.
Their second best player was probably Bobby Dandridge, who should be in the Hall of Fame, by the way. But I don't know if they should be on this list. And this is going to sound crazy. The 96 Bulls are too high on this list.
What are you saying?
What?
The 96 Bulls are too high on this list.
First of all, two more Bulls teams should be on the list from the 90s.
First of all, let's hold on. Y'all know
it's one team per dynasty, bro.
You cannot talk. You cannot.
No,
talk
Lakers on there twice.
Yeah, you cannot talk objectively with a Bulls fan about where Bulls teams rank all time.
Let me turn my camera off so nobody don't see it. Let me turn my camera off. No, the Bulls should be higher. No, what you talking about? Let me turn my camera off.
No. So the issue with the 96 Bulls is, again, they benefited, and that's CA, y'all, we had this conversation.
Here you go.
Remember, there were two brand new expansion teams in the league in 95-96. And they benefited from it. They had a great season, but they are not the second greatest team of all time.
So did they play them expansion teams 82 times or something?
Exactly.
No,
they lost against Toronto. They lost against Toronto, matter of fact.
Yeah, but let's remember what happens before expansion comes into place. You had the expansion draft. So you had teams that were stronger that were pulled apart. Also, remember the 95-96 season, it was, again, you really only had maybe one or two teams that were really competitive with the Bulls. It was the Magic, and of course, Seattle. Seattle. The league was a little bit watered down because of the expansion draft. So they're a great team, but they should not be ahead of the 86 Celtics, who went 40-1 at home. They were all-time dominant, and the 87 Lakers were better. I would put the Bulls 4, but I wouldn't have them ahead of the 80. I would put them 4, but I would not have them ahead of the 86 Celtics.
So what other Bulls team for the 90s should be on this list? Because I think two more Bulls teams should be on this list.
I think the only team that could be in the argument for being in the 90s or from the 90s is the 92 Bulls. That Bulls that won the championship against Portland. That Bulls team, offensively and defensively, is probably the best Bulls team of that era. They could be argued to be on this list, but I understand why they're not on this list.
That's crazy.
Well, I got Bulls number 1. I got them number 1 as the greatest team of all time.
They're not.
If you want to say the Warriors had the most talent on the team, that's fine.
They did.
But as for greatest, the Bulls. They had the MVP. They had 3 all-defensive players. They had 2 all-NBA players. They had the 3-point champion.
They had the scoring leader.
They had the scoring leader. They had the coach of the year. They had the 6th man of the year. They went 72-10 in the playoffs. They swept the Orlando Magic that won 60 games. They had the Seattle Supersonics down 3-0 before Seattle won 2 games. Yep. And that Seattle team won 64 games. When you talk about the greatest team of all time, I got to have the Bulls first.
Yeah, it's again, if I match that Bulls team up against the 86 Celtics, I don't think that Bulls team beats the 86 Celtics.
I agree with that.
Bulls in 6.
No.
I agree with that.
No. It is the 86 Celtics team, that front line was ridiculous. And if the Bulls had one weakness, it was, they didn't have a lot of size in the front line. Yep. Bird 86 Bird and 96 Pippen would be a good matchup. Mm-hmm. I don't know as good as Robin was if he could have done anything with 86 McHale.
I think he would have did a good job.
He gave young Shaq trouble.
That was young Shaq who didn't have the 1,000 post moves like Kevin McHale. I don't think people really know how good Kevin McHale was.
Kevin McHale was nice.
And at 6'11" with those post moves, he was. I would argue he was the best power forward of the 80s. So yeah, it's I just think when I look at, the 86 Celtics team, and I'm not a Celtics fan, let me be very clear, but for me, it's 86 Celtics or 87 Lakers should be ahead of those Bulls teams.
All right, Sean, while I got you on, Sean, we was talking about the Damien Lilliard situation earlier. What you think is the best move for him if we happen to trade him?
Well, the best move for him is to stay in Portland with Chauncey. Because you look at how they align Chauncey's contract, with the Bull with Dame's contract, stay in Portland at least this year, maybe even next year. I think the move needs to be, what can you do with CJ? Can you get something for CJ? July, I've been a big proponent of them calling Toronto and sending CJ to Toronto for Pascal Siakam, and making sure they re-sign Norman Powell. So, I think Dave's not going anywhere. He's not James Harden. Everybody's trying to make this Harden Houston comparison with Dame. It's not the same. Because Dame actually cares. James Harden only cares about, honey buns and strip clubs. So
I don't think it's really necessary about Dame's attitude. I just think you gave your all to the city, and all these fans are coming after you for something that you can't control. It's like it's gotta kind of take a toll on you.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, like I was telling SB earlier, as a fan of Portland, if they ain't want to leave, I support that because he gave us everything he had. Like he didn't shortchange us for anything. So if Dame do want to leave, I would say that Toronto is a good trade. I will also say Philly is a good trade if they happen to give us Ben Simmons and Seth Curry and maybe a pick. But yeah, I wouldn't bash Dame or anything if he would want to leave Portland. But if he stay, I think if he stay, we have to move CJ McCollum because we have to make a move.
I think y'all need to rebuild all the way.
The thing is, though, like you said, the best thing would be for Dame to stay in Portland. The GM that already came out, he was like, the reason for Portland struggles or whatever is not on the roster. He just say they need to play better.
Anyway,
don't plan on giving no more help than he got.
He said, "What?"
Yeah,
on the wrong
what up, man? He calling that for that boy ahead. He said the issue for Portland is not the roster. He said they just need to play better. So he just giving Dame no more help than he got.
They better appreciate Dame while he does.
So at this point, Dame needs to be looking.
Well, Neil O'Shea is captain, right? Because let's be real, right? You've had 10 years of Dame, 9 first round picks. You've had 9 years of free agency, and you've yet to find him a competent, consistent number 2 co-star.
Mm-hmm.
Right. I like CJ, but I don't think CJ's a number 2.
Agreed.
He only showed up 1 year. I mean, think about it. Like she only showed up one playoff year consistent.
Right.
But look, like this though, to Sean's point, all of us would have said before then that CJ McCollum is better player than I'm talking before then now. That he's a better player than Chris Middleton. But Chris Middleton showed up better as a number 2 than CJ McCollum ever did. Ever did.
Well, actually, let me ask this. Let me throw a question out there. Would CJ McCollum make the All-Star team in the East?
No.
Ever? Like no year. He would never.
No.
See, I think that's tough. If Middleton can make it, that's tough, man. Like, that's tough.
Middleton is the number 2 on the best, one of the best teams in the East. That's why.
And I think we have to be honest about Middleton. Middleton's a better player.
Yep, he is. He's a way better player than CJ.
Because if you think about it, to your point, and what's up, bro?
He revives more.
Yeah. If you look at the East and you just look at the guards, is CJ better than Bradley Beal?
No.
Is he better than Jaylen Brown?
No.
Is he better than Zach LaVine?
No.
Hey man, y'all stop doing my dog like that, man.
It's the truth, man. It's the truth.
I think Levine is actually Levine is tough. Levine is
way better than CJ McCollum. And I'm not even saying that because I'm a Bulls fan. It's not even close.
I mean, the point being is they need to get the man some more help than CJ McCollum, dog. It ain't no shots at CJ. It's like you're not winning with just that. So
it's just a problem. It's hard to win with a small backcourt like that. And CJ McCollum, he's not the type of player.
We forget that too. CJ is small.
And CJ McCollum, he's not the type of player you want to take that risk of playing such a small backcourt with.
Mm-hmm. Hey, SB, let me introduce you to my homeboy Troll God. He the only person outside Atlanta fans that pick Atlanta to go to the Eastern Conference Finals.
Matter of fact, hey, look, I gotta give him his credit because I was on the episode when he did say that though, and I was laughing at too. Nah, I gotta give him his props.
Hold on, is this SB Town Sports?
Yeah.
Is that the one that just the one that asked me how much Will paid me to say Atlanta was gonna make it to the Eastern Conference Finals? Hey, let me ask y'all a question, man. I'm listening to y'all rating CJ under this extreme list of players. Let me ask, who would y'all rate CJ over?
Oh man, I say Levine. Me personally, just because
Norman Powell.
I mean, y'all rating CJ under this extreme list of players, which I can't go against any one of them. But on the other side of the token, who would y'all rate him over?
Kyle Kuzma.
Right, looking at shooting guards. Wow.
Damien Schroeder. He better than Schroeder.
That's tough, bro. That's something than a $2 steak right there.
I think he's better. I think he's better than DeRozan at this point.
Probably.
Yeah, I can agree with that.
You low key can debate that too, though. That's the sad part about it. And
you technically can when you talk about
DeRozan.
But see, like, if we say that he's better than DeRozan, if we say that he's better than DeRozan, that means throughout his career he would have made the All-Star team in the East because DeRozan.
We talk right now. We talk today. We ain't talking about all time. He's not better than DeRozan. He's not better than DeRozan all time. It's not even close.
Yeah.
Okay, I see what you're saying.
Yeah, we talk today, right now. Yeah.
Hey, so do y'all think this series over between the Clippers and the Suns, or you think the Clippers still got a little left in the tank?
Over with.
I don't know. Chris Paul have a little trouble with 3-1, so I'm gonna I got to see him seal the deal.
It might get one more.
I don't know. Chris Paul usually gets 3-1s.
Yeah,
I can see that it's over tonight.
Suns at home tonight, game 5 is gonna be hard to beat them, boy.
Yeah,
I gotta go Suns in 6 because I do respect Ty Lue as far as his adjustments. He's shown that he is a lot more intelligent, intuitive than Doc Rivers as far as making adjustments. Mm-hmm. And they did beat a really tough Utah team 4 times in a row. So if you're able to beat a team like that, a Western team 4 times in a row, yes, I know Mitchell was hobbled, but they have a good coach over there with Sloan. They dominated the West throughout the regular season. And them boys started off 0-2. Yes, there's no Kawhi now. That's the major variable difference. But I'm going to go ahead and throw one more game for the Clippers just out of respect for Ty Lue.
So, Nelson, I agree with you. I like Ty Lue. I think, obviously, he's shown he's a great in-game and in-series adjuster. Mm-hmm. But I think Monty Williams has shown himself equally as up to that task as well. Mm-hmm. I think the only way the Clippers win tonight is if Reggie Jackson is their best player.
Mm. That's tough to say.
I think if y'all saying Suns in 6, you might well say Suns in 7. Because if they don't close out tonight, I don't see them winning in LA game 6.
In LA. See, I don't think they're scared of LA. My thing is like, so when you look at the Clippers, how unfortunate is it with injury? I mean, we talk about the Hawks going through injuries.
It's part of the game, man.
Yeah, but I mean, Ibaka, like it's the investments they made. They invested in Ibaka. He had a back surgery. He cannot return no matter what. Cousins looks horrible. He looks like a shell of himself. He don't look like real Cousins. But I mean, and according to what Troll said, I do think they can win in LA. I think they could lose in 6, lose in Phoenix, and then win in LA and in the series. That sounds good.
All right. Go ahead, Sean. I'll go after you.
No, I was just going to say, first of all, I need the Clippers to lose just so my Clippers are the worst organization in the North American sport. That take can still stand, so I need them to lose. I mean, listen, obviously the injuries play a role, but, let's be real. Chris Paul didn't play the first 2 games. So, the Clippers had their chance to steal one of those 2 games without Chris Paul, and they didn't get it done. Partly because of way off P. So, I just think
that's tough though, man. Because so when playoff P missed those 2 free throws, do we not look at
not
his series. 9 shots prior?
He been playing good. He
had a big game. Outside of a couple faux pas at the end of the game.
He had like one good game, man.
He's had one good game in this series, and he's had a lot of 9 for 26, 8 for 25 shooting nights. Yeah. That's not good. That's not superstar play. No. I mean, he's been highly inefficient. And again, even with a guy like Reggie Jackson, who I think has been, again, what I think is the key for them tonight, if they want to stay in this series.
Yeah.
Paul George just hasn't been that great in this series. If we're being honest.
I think there's a weird perception with Paul George. Like, so he has a negative bias that's already like that's a black cloud over his head. So, for example, when you said Reggie Jackson, I agree. No one has shot at the high field goal percentage rate or stat that I read this morning. No one has shot at a field goal percentage rate of Reggie Jackson throughout the playoffs from 3, other than Steph Curry. That's it. So he's doing an anomaly. But when you look at most NBA players, especially superstars in the playoffs, a lot of times their field goal percentage drops precipitously because of the slow down pace. And a lot of times you'll see like 2 to 3 minutes go by where neither team scores. It's real scrappy. Only typically in blowouts, in like big time blowouts, when you see a superstar have like a 60, 70%, like a really high for field goal percentage rate. So like Paul George, they said had the longest streak of any active player of 20 points or more, 25 points or more, 20 or 25 points or more of active streak of consecutive games. No player in the NBA right now has more strung together than Paul George. So, I mean, we look at it, we're like, man, this dude shot 9 to 26. Fair criticism. But at the same time, playoffs is kind of ugly. You know, it's all about can you win? Can you win ugly with a terrible field goal percentage?
Let's see Stephen their words.
Hey, but for me though, the Suns got to close the deal out tonight because you said a good point about the black cloud hovering over the Clippers. It's a black cloud covering over the Suns, and it's a 3-1 lead. And the reason why I say the Suns is Chris Paul is their leader. It was a good thing actually that Chris Paul didn't play because I believe Chris Paul would have found a way somehow to get hurt, toe knuckle or some bunion popped or some out for the season. It'd have been something stupid. It'd have been something crazy. So I feel like for the confidence of Chris Paul, who is their leader on and off the court, they need to get it done now because he even said, I don't want to talk about 3-1. So that lets me know it's in the back of his mind. So now the Clippers need to attack today. Attack today, make a statement game today. So if they win, they need to win today by at least like 10 or more points, make a statement game, then come back for game 6. Then it's up in the air because now if you come win this game, beat them bad, then win game 6, I feel like they'll get the Suns 7 because they'll be so shell-shocked. Because it'd be like Chris Paul, man, said it'd be here go again. I can't never get over the hump. 3-1 lead. I blew another one. So for the Suns, they have to get it done tonight. They have to get it done tonight.
Yeah, I think they will too, man. Like you said, Chris Paul's but the 3-1 thing, somewhere deep down, he knows that. So he knows what he got to do today. And also with the coaching thing, like I said, Ty Lue was pretty good at adjustments. Monty Williams, Monty Williams been doing this thing as well. So I expect him to come with the adjustments they need to close it out. Plus, it's gonna be real loud in Phoenix, dog. So, and then pneumonia P, like I call him, Paul George. I do something dumb in the clutch. So,
man, I think
Phoenix closes it out.
Go on, man. Take this off the screen. I'm tired of Scottie, bro.
Real quick about the Clippers, though. On what do you guys think about Beverly on Booker? Because I'm saying that, with Booker, he did flourish. It seemed like he did a lot better when Chris Paul was gone. Now that Chris Paul's back, Beverly seems to be focused on Booker. I think they showed a stat. I mean, he's shooting like, I think 20%, something terrible, whenever Booker's on him. So do you think that's a legitimate fact? Because I agree with Mike. Is that you, Mike, that said Reggie Jackson is the key? But can we look at guys like Beverly, Morris shooting from 3 if he started hitting threes at a higher clip? Nicholas Batum, guys like that, could it not be Paul George and not Reggie and be someone else like that?
Y'all forgetting the one key factor. Which Marcus Morris are y'all gonna get?
That's what I'm saying. Because if he's hit,
the one that gives you 20 and 8, or the one that gives you 2 points and 4 rebounds.
It's always up in the air. You never know which one you're gonna get.
That's one of the keys right there. Never mind Reggie and all them, because they're gonna give you a certain amount of production in the way. Which Marcus Morris are you get?
Right. So I look at it two ways. To Nelson's point, right? So Patrick Beverley has obviously been a key to the series, and one of the reasons why I'm not giving Paul George a pass is because he's not guarding anybody that's attacking him. He's really been able to kind of chill defensively in this series. So when you shoot 9 for 27 and you chilling on defense, I'm not giving you no pass for that, bro. When you're supposed to be one of the best defenders in the league, you're not guarding because he's not guarding Booker, right? Patrick Beverley's taking that assignment. Man has gotten that assignment some. So I'm not giving him no pass for that. But I think Patrick Beverley has been key. What's going to be key for Phoenix, and again, one of the things that the Lakers did a good job of, I think it was probably starting like game 2 or 3 of that series, was they were picking up Booker early. They were getting in him early. They weren't allowing him to go operate one-on-one on the ball. So around game 4, you saw Phoenix kind of run more pin downs, more brush screens, things like that to get Booker the ball on the move. So all he's got to do is catch, make 1 or 2 dribbles, and then, get into his motion. I think that's what Phoenix has to do tonight to get Beverly off of Booker some.
Hey, so I got Phoenix closing it out tonight. like Nelson said, they definitely got to close it out tonight. Or you gonna be possibly looking at a game 7 where basically anything could happen. And if Paul George, the best player on the court on game 7, it might be bad for Phoenix. But what I was gonna say, SB, I wanted to holler at you about these quotes I got on the screen about Scottie Pippen.
I'm sitting looking at it now. I'm trying to find. I'm like, it's more to the quote too. That's what I was looking at too, man.
Well, I like Scottie, man.
I didn't know about these quotes that I got on the screen because it looked like they just posted today.
He just did it.
I'm talking about. I knew he had said something about Charles Barkley. That he only fight black people when they got black and whites around or something, referees around. Just tell me about Scottie Pippen, man. I'm a big fan of Scottie Pippen. You a Bulls fan, so I just want to get your opinion on it.
So look, I ain't never seen somebody who want to sell a book and a fifth of liquor so bad, bro. Look, just put it in the corner store and just say it's Scottie's liquor. People go buy your liquor, bro. So you don't have to do all this liquor. Your book gonna get sold regardless. Once you said I'm gonna do a tell-all book, the series, the book was gonna sell. At first, when he said the thing about KD, because everybody know I've been ranting for the last couple of weeks that Kevin Durant is the best player in the league, which I still feel that way. But that's a different story for a different day. I don't want to start a whole another can of worms. We can say that for another day. So I was like, out of respect for Scottie, me being a Bulls fan, I'm gonna let Scottie be. I ain't gonna disrespect. But now this telling me he just saying any and everything for he pulling a Kwame right now. Just saying any and everything, get everybody's attention to click, but he want the drama. He just want drama. He might just start a YouTube and just start talking crazy. Like he said, this was said I was just looking, I had the screenshot. Like I'm gonna have to make a video on this. Scottie Pippen says Phil Jackson's decision to give Tony Kukoc the last shot in 1994 was racially motivated. And MJ passed. MJ's it's more. MJ passed. Oh, he said right here. MJ passed the curve was for the cameras. I need the whole quote. I need the whole quote. Because what is you talking about? That don't make no sense.
He was on the Dan Patrick show, so if you watch the clip from the Dan Patrick show, you'll see the whole context of what he was talking about.
So
I'm gonna have to watch that one.
I need to see the whole clip before I go crazy on it. But it's just like to me right now, Scottie just saying everything from the point saying LeBron won a championship without no help. KD ain't the best player. Now Michael Jordan, I was the leader of the team. Like, come on, man. Like nobody looked it for you. KD, nobody looked it for Scottie as the leader. Scottie was not the leader. Scottie was not the leader. Come on, Sean. Don't tell me Scottie was the leader.
When you see the comment on the screen right now, the comment on the screen talking about the game does this when an album is dropping. Is that kind of the same thing? Like a rapper has an album drop?
It's not the game level. This is SB. You as a Chicago cat. This is Kanye 101.
I give you that.
You got an album you're ready to drop. Every time Kanye had an album drop, it was always some controversy. All right. George Bush Hates Black People album was finna drop.
Yep.
Sorry, Taylor Swift.
Right. You know, Trolling Taylor Swift album finna drop.
I'm gonna let you finish.
You know what I'm saying? Start the beef with 50 Cent, album finna drop. This is Kanye 101. This all Scotty's doing is taking what Chicago cats always do when they got something finna come out. They start the beef and it creates the hype and the buzz around it. Scotty got a liquor and a book coming out. That's why he's doing this. Simple as that.
Man.
And they all want to hear the excuse, oh man, he's hurt because of the Last Dance. He ain't hurt because everybody says. I rewatched the clip and I saved it about how everybody talking about why Jordan exposed him. Everybody on the team said something about what Scotty did. And nobody said, Scotty, you let us down. Now, oh man, I'm sorry, guys. Nah, man, get out of here, man. Drink a little bourbon. The liquor must not be good if he can't sell it because the Rock had tequila. All the Rock did was post his tequila and then post people who drunk. I even got posted on the Rock page. That's how you do it if you really want people to do it. Show people that you're going to support them or you're going to post them. And then people love that more than the drama. Unless you go like start a YouTube podcast or something because you can't just do this for a little while and then just disappear. Like, no, you got to keep the drama. Go
They got him on ESPN. He's able to talk shit on NBA at the jump.
Yeah, go along, get along game. Yeah, that's he going to be with them next too, right? Get out of here, man.
Troll guy, what you think on the Scottie Pippen situation?
I know you better say he trolling.
Of course, Scotty is the ultimate troll, man.
The ultimate troll.
He learned from his wife.
Oh damn, man.
I'm surprised he didn't bring her into beef to promote it. If you want to promote the book, that's the person you need to be throwing shots at right there.
Hey, if you want to promote his liquor, see, look, man, if you ever go through a heartbreak, take this Scotty liquor, man. Like, it'll get you right through your heartbreak. Boom. Sell out the stores. There you go.
Straight to the bottom.
I think, as I thought about it, I think Pippen, he's clearly trolling. Like, I mean, you can tell, like, when you look at all the interviews he does, like, he just be trolling. Like, he don't really...
You gotta think about it. In this day and age of media, controversy is the number one selling promotional angle ever. Yeah. You got a product coming out, throw up in controversy. Controversy always stirs the pot and it always creates a sale, a buzz. Why not?
Hey Sean, so you think out of all the quotes, you think there's any truth to any of those quotes? You think there's any truth to any of those quotes that Pippen said? Like about Durant, about Barkley, about Jordan, about Jackson. You think there's any truth to those quotes?
Like I always tell y'all, number one rule of trolling, if it's gonna be legitimate trolling, it's gotta have some in there. It's gotta be some legitimate angle of truth. It ain't gonna be a whole bunch of it, but it's gonna be some truth somewhere. The key is to leave it up to the audience to decide what is truth and what isn't. As long as y'all keep talking about it, it's gonna create a buzz. He wins either way. His product gets sold.
Yeah. So July, to answer your question, when the whole thing with Kevin Durant came out, the question I asked somebody was, if you look at Kevin Durant's NBA career, what teammate can you say Kevin Durant played with that he made better as a result of playing with Kevin Durant?
I think he hit the flaws of Russell Westbrook.
I would say Westbrook too.
I think he hit Westbrook flaws, but that's not answering your question. I get what you're saying. Like LeBron did make Kyrie better, in my opinion.
Right.
But yeah, Kevin Durant just hid the flaws of players more than really made them better.
Right. And
look at Westbrook after KD left. So after KD left, Westbrook, some people may argue, are averaging a triple-double is so much better than what he was doing prior. But I would actually argue that Westbrook was fighting almost like an internal demon of, do I let Kevin be the alpha? Do I let Kevin? And so it was like every night you would see the battle of, am I going to get good Westbrook or bad Westbrook? Because you never knew if he would be like, you know what, fuck it, I'm going to take over. At the end, Kevin's like tapping his hands, like passing the ball. You can see it's clear in his body language, his eyes, everything, saying, pass me the ball. And sometimes he chooses not to, sometimes he chooses to. But me as an OKC fan, I've been an OKC fan from the inception of the franchise. They're like in their 11th year, I think, since the franchise. I went through the struggles watching them shoot, man. Like trying to understand that even at the end of games, Scottie Brooks would put Harden a lot of times as the finishing point guard and move Westbrook over to the 2. So you would have Harden finishing out games as the point, Westbrook at the 2, and then KD at the 3. And I'd be like, wow, this is so much better. Like if Westbrook would have did what Kyrie did in Brooklyn, where Kyrie said, look, Harden, you're better than me, be the point guard, they'd probably still be playing right now. They'd probably still be together. But I would actually argue that KD forced Westbrook at times to be a better player, even though ultimately in the end he chose not to be.
Yeah, that's the only question I've always had about Kevin Durant. I think I've always said I think Kevin Durant is a 7-foot George Gervin. I think he's a supreme individual talent. He might be the best individual scorer at every level that we've ever seen. But I'm not sure that his game is one of, because you play with me, I'm going to make you better. I just don't know if that's ever really.
Well, maybe what about his efficiency? The fact that he doesn't need high usage rates, because like look at how when he went to the Golden State Warriors, you're thinking. I mean, when you hear Westbrook and Harden are both in Houston, everybody said how they gonna share the ball. KD goes to the Warriors, nobody even questions it. And throughout that year, if you look at the first 2 seasons when they were together winning a championship, Klay's numbers did not drop off, and you would think he would suffer. So KD was able to add to the Warriors without taking away from the Warriors, and Klay kept like around a 20-point point per game average.
Yeah, I mean, so that was an interesting argument we had the other night about KD. Someone said KD made Klay better. I said no, KD didn't make Klay better.
It didn't hurt him.
It didn't hurt him. And also, you know, Klay had a couple of his best games as a Warrior with KD on the floor. It's a lot easier to do that when you're playing with you got 3 guys who can all obviously score and shoot the ball like that. The question for me, I'm sorry. The other part with me with KD is I don't know if KD is necessarily a culture changer. As great as he is he a guy when he walks in, he brings this cachet where your culture is going to change, and because again, just by his mere presence, you say this guy's here and we're going to be better because he's here, and everybody's going to be better because he's here. Is he Tim Duncan? Is he is he Michael Jordan? I don't know if he has that type of cachet.
I mean, the year before last, could we say Brooklyn was? Could we say that we would see Brooklyn, like the Brooklyn team wasn't in 1 game away or 2 games away from the Eastern Conference Finals? You know what I'm saying? And then also Harden is hurt, Kyrie is hurt, so Harden pulls his hamstring in game 1, and that looked terrible. You're already thinking like, oh yeah, he's gone, he's done. Then Kyrie lands on Giannis's ankle or Giannis's foot, high ankle sprain. You know he's gone for at least 2 weeks. Harden comes back, and I would actually argue that Harden hurt them more than helped them, because you see the way he ran, like he didn't really run full speed. The best thing he could do is play post defense, and that didn't take a lot of lateral movement. Then even when he got the ball, he would hold it at the top of the key. He would just run from top of the key to top of the key. He wouldn't even run a full court. So you have this guy that's on the floor that's basically clogging everything up, and KD's still having to operate. Sometimes Harden would be throwing a KD at the end of a shot clock. He's trying to bail everybody out. So, I mean, I would actually argue that KD kept them afloat when they probably should have lost long ago. Like, as soon as Harden was hurt, they probably should have got swept.
I always thought that KD, when it comes to KD, like he's the type of player, and I think somebody else said him as well as Larry Bird, but KD, especially in my eyes, you could put him in any offensive system, or he could beat a system, and that's what separates him from a lot of scorers to me. That every superstar couldn't went to Golden State, and Golden State not like y'all saying about Klay. Klay's game not suffering. Everybody couldn't do that. And as far as LeBron goes,
I think LeBron, in his prime, or I'm not even gonna say it right now, but in LeBron prime, he had to be the system of the team. He had to get players to, surround him with. I think with KD, you could put KD in what's a good team right now? You can put KD in Phoenix, and Phoenix not going to take a step back. You can put KD in the Clippers. The Clippers not going to take a step back. You can't do the same thing with LeBron. I think you would have to make roster moves with LeBron in order for your team to be successful to the level that you want it to be.
See, I agree with you, Joe. I agree with you, Kenny, because if you think about it, like how you just said it, KD can do what he does without high usage. He can do what he does without high usage. Now, I will say Larry Bird is a much better passer, but you're right. I mean, as far as like KD can join any team, any squad, he could join the Suns, he could join the Clippers right now. I mean, any squad, and not take away. So can you argue that makes people better? Could you argue that the fact that KD can be added to a team, give you 30 points a night and not hurt anybody, technically does not make you better?
Yeah, I mean, I think certainly it makes you better. But also, if we remember the last year he was in Golden State, and particularly even starting in that Western Conference Finals the year before against Houston, they started to go away from what made Golden State special. The ball movement, the player movement, they went very ISO heavy, trying to almost appease KD. And again, a lot of it was because Houston had no real matchup for Kevin Durant, which you understand, but they went away from what made them special. I thought, in my opinion, they made that series harder than it had to be by going so ISO heavy against a Houston team that wasn't great defensively. They were solid, but they weren't great. And then that last year, they really tried to appease Kevin Durant a lot because again,
it was bad.
You want to be happy, you want to keep him long term, you want him to stay, and so you're doing everything you can to make sure he's happy. But it was really taken away from again what made Golden State so unique. Even prior to KD getting there in those first couple of years, he was there.
Hey, Sean, that's a great point. The reason that's a great point because you talk about how Kevin Durant, how Golden State made it harder for him to win. If you remember the next year when Kevin Durant actually got hurt against Houston, Golden State came in and beat Houston without Kevin Durant, and it was that ball movement that you're talking about. So yeah, that's a real good point. I 100% agree with you. What you think, CA?
Yeah, I agree with that.
What are you talking about again?
Talking about
KD and what?
KD and does KD make his teammates better like LeBron does, or he just look out for KD? What's your thoughts?
I think Kevin was right in that sense, sort of. Of course, when you bring a player like Kevin Durant to any team, of course he's gonna help the team. But does he make anybody individually better, like directly? Probably not. Because KD's what KD. When you put in KD in the game, what you're expecting out of him is not really making your teammates better. It's just him being able to kind of indirectly make people better because he can score so many points with such a low usage rate. Like that's what makes KD so special. He's such an efficient scorer that can score, very quickly and in a very small amount. He can. Without that many shots. You can just give him the ball. He'll give you points really quickly. That's what makes KD so special. So, I don't think he directly makes players better, but I think he makes players better because he can make players better because he can score at so effectively. Without having such a high usage rate.
Okay, what about you, Troll God? What's your thoughts on Pippen comments about KD?
Well, if you go back on the timeline of the careers on both of them, KD brings instant offense to any team he goes to, which creates a lot of offense for other players on the team because he has to have a certain amount of attention diverted on it. With LeBron, and this is going to be a hot take, I might get to go back on. It's kind of iffy because he always brings a certain cast with him to every team that he plays with. And the only team I think that wasn't the case was Miami. Because he went there to meet Aiden Bosh. Now, remember when he went back to Cleveland, he made Cleveland better when he went back to Kyrie. Now, you can't say LeBron didn't make Kyrie a better player. Because when
I think he did. I definitely think he did.
Now with KD, yeah, when he was in Seattle, when he was in OKC, yeah, he made the. I don't know. Y'all can say he made Russ better because Russ has averaged a triple double damn near on every team he's played with. So to say he made Russ a better player is kind of a toss up too.
Or we could have the argument: is the triple double really the best thing that Russ could do? That's the argument. That's a whole nother conversation.
But not to get too far off the KD topic with Russ, that was he was kind of caught on that red pill, blue pill matrix. Does he want to have the game winning assist, or does he want to take the game winning shot?
Right.
And Russ is not that keen in game winning shot situation. You know, he will provide instant offense in many different aspects, but when it comes down to that crunch time game winning shot, you know, that's kind of a toss up on Russ's side. So, but no, to get back to the KD thing, KD's it's a toss up between does he make his teammates play better, or does he just create more opportunities for his teammates to have better offensive situations? And then do we constitute that as making a teammate better, or just giving him or creating more opportunistic situations for him as on offense as opposed to whether if I'm the point guard and I got KD on a hot streak, does that let's say I had 10 points in the first quarter and then KD goes off from second to third, and I've been getting double teamed from the end of the first quarter on. Does KD getting hot, throw that second double team off me and get me back on track? Does that say he's making me a better player, or is he just diverting the extra defender toward him since he's on, and now I have more opportunities to get back on the offensive track?
Right.
I would say
do we constitute that as making a player better, or just him being the necessary distraction at the opportune time for me to get back in the offensive track?
Yeah, like define making a player better, because if you're not, if KD's not taking away from our touches,
it's a toss up on both sides between LeBron and KD. In certain situations, it wasn't either one of them making the player better. It was just them being on the floor, creating more opportunities for the other player to have one-on-one coverage and get back into the flow of the offense.
All right, what you saying, CA? Oh, go ahead, Sean.
I just think my biggest issue with KD is that, you know, of course, his biggest strength is just being such an efficient scorer. But if you take his efficiency away, like let's say that there's games where you take his efficiency away, he's essentially kind of a detriment because you can't really do anything else. Like we saw, in the Bucks. I think it was was it game 4 where he was inefficient? One of those games too was I mean, we saw him be so inefficient for like the first 3 quarters, and he couldn't really provide anything. It kind of really hurt the team. He couldn't provide anything else. He just had the ball, and he was very inefficient. Of course, he got his points up, but he was very inefficient. And we saw in the Warriors OKC series, the big reason why the Warriors came back was because KD was so inefficient. Of course, he got his points, but KD was very inefficient toward the last stretch of the series, and he couldn't really provide his team anything else. And it kind of just helped. It kind of really, it was really a huge contributor for them giving that lead away.
Should we look at scoring small forward to be making players better?
That's why Nelson. That's why I use the comparison of George Gervin. Because as good as George Gervin was individually, and again, the teams that George Gervin was on were better because George Gervin was there. But I'm not sure George Gervin made an individual teammate better. So, I was using so Larry Bird was the example. So I think about Danny Ainge. Danny Ainge makes an NBA All-Star team by virtue of playing with Larry Bird. Danny Ainge is not an all-time great player, but he makes an All-Star team because of playing with Larry Bird. I think about LeBron, his first round running Cleveland with Ilgauskas. Ilgauskas was a solid player, but I think LeBron helped raise his game to another level that helped make Cleveland contenders, for a couple years there in Cleveland. I wanted to go back to Troll God's point about Russell Westbrook. Russell Westbrook, to your point, for me, has always been kind of like Tony Romo, that I think he does a lot of things well during the game. But if I got a late game drive, I don't want Tony Romo having the ball in his hand. Because he's going.
That is a good point. That is a fact.
Yeah. And that's Russ. Like Russ does is great. You love the grit, you love the determination. But if the game's on the line and I need him to make some game-winning plays, I'm worried. Because sometimes he'll get in his own thing of I can do this myself. I can take this on myself and do too much and end up costing you the game in the end. I just wanted to say that to you. That was a good point about Russell Westbrook.
Appreciate it. So in that aspect, do we say Russell Westbrook will make a better sportscaster than the player? As if you compare to Tony Romo?
Hell no. Romo's a beast, man. That nigga's a savant when it comes to sports. Westbrook might get mad at his co-host during the broadcast.
Yeah.
Romo needs to be a coach on somebody's team.
Yeah, Romo, you think about Romo has a good head for the game. He understood situational football. Like when you hear this commentating, you hear it. And he helped Josh Allen grow from what Josh Allen was, the first couple of years to what he was last year. So Romo has a head for the game. I just think, when people say, oh, Romo's a Hall of Famer, he's not a Hall of Famer, not as a quarterback. Maybe as a broadcaster, but not as a quarterback. It's just, I mean, maybe that's Russ's calling, is that he's a guy, because I think he does see the game a certain way, but sometimes your greatest asset can be your greatest weakness.
Detriment.
And that thing of I can do this myself, I can take it on myself, I'm unstoppable, can get in his way sometimes. And I think that's what's hurt him sometimes.
I said we saw that with MJ. We saw that with MJ and Kobe, actually. So MJ, we saw that until Pippen got there, because Doug Collins as a coach would never push Jordan to trust his teammates. And then he had to learn it when Pippen got there, especially trying to get past the Pistons. And then we saw it with Kobe, with the Shaq situation. With Kobe, he didn't start trusting teammates till the Gasol era. Right. So that's another thing that we saw. So maybe Westbrook just never got to the point of trusting Kevin Durant. But let me talk about actually on the defensive side, because a lot of times I think there's a preconceived notion that KD is not really helping defensively. And I would argue against that, because Ibaka was a 3-time block leader only when playing with OKC. So, I mean, he's played with Toronto. He's played with some other players. He never had these things. He had 3-time all-defensive team selections as well. Again, only through 2012, through 2013, 2014 with OKC. He won a championship with Kawhi in 2019, but he never got personal accolades, only when he played with KD.
I mean, to me, that's kind of a disingenuous argument, because I just think Serge Ibaka's just his prime years, just at age. I think was just with OKC. Okay. I think that's kind of why that was the case.
And I mean, he was a better 3-point shooter and a decent defender in Toronto, but now, his body is broken down.
When he got to Toronto, his defense started to drop off. When he was
it started in Orlando, CA. It was he literally became.
I forgot about Orlando, bro.
Yeah, it was literally. He literally became a 6'10" shooting guard in Orlando. He did not want to go to the basket. He did not play defense. And to your point, enough, some of that is, I think, what's around you, right? Because remember, they had Kendrick Perkins, then they had Steve Adams. Like, they had defensive centers around him. So I think he was able to thrive in that role with true defensive centers around him. You saw a little bit of it in Toronto, but not like you did in OKC.
Right, that's true. Okay, I can see that. He played small ball five a lot. He played small ball five in OKC, right? And then it was a lot of small ball. He was small ball forward, center a lot too, sometimes in the lineups. But I think y'all are right. It may have just been a happenstance with his prime and his physical body just not being broken down yet. Because yeah, you're right. Towards Orlando and then Toronto, he almost came like I would almost damn near call him like a black Porzingis. Like he damn near turned into like a KP where he just didn't want to shoot perimeter shots, and we're seeing that with Porzingis now. In Dallas.
Another question I want to ask about this making players better debate. What do we constitute as making players better? That improve certain players' improvement,
That's a good question.
a certain player's offensive, defensive play improving while the players on their team, or after that, or just being a better player overall after that player has left the team, or them just making a certain amount of players better overall. Because besides KD making with Ibaka having the career numbers like Nelson mentioned, while KD was in Oklahoma and LeBron enhancing the play of Kyrie overall, what other players besides those two on either player's career resume have they made that much better, or the players' stats have increased that much while either KD or LeBron was on their team? Like what are we constituting making a player better?
I think the better question is which one would make the team better, like the overall team, and the answer is obviously LeBron. like LeBron, like having LeBron as the guy. Like LeBron could be that scorer, not the efficient scorer KD could be but he could be the scorer. He could be the defender. Well, used to be he could be the defender. He could be the facilitator. I mean, so when it comes to making a team better overall, I think LeBron is the easy answer. Like,
Kenny, would you say LeBron made a D Wade better or made Chris Bosh better during this time of the Heat?
I don't think he made them better.
Let's not say he made D Wade better. Let's not act like D Wade didn't win a championship before LeBron.
And he was better before LeBron, and then he was on the tail end of his career. And Bosh turned into a shell of himself.
In that case, you can't say KD made Golden State better. They was 73-9 before he even showed up.
Yeah, that's why NBA. And that's why I troll guy. When I talk about KD making guys better, I don't even look at Golden State. I'm looking more at OKC, and now obviously looking at Brooklyn. So where Scottie Pippen I thought had some merit in what he said was I thought KD should have been more. Once Harden came back and it was clear he was a shell of himself, picking his spots where it's like, okay, listen, I'm gonna be more of a playmaker. I got to get Joe Harris going. I got to get Shamet going. I got to get Bruce. I got to get other guys going, and then let's keep it close. And then come fourth quarter, I haven't used all my energy, trying to score and score. And again, he was using a lot of energy to score the basketball in that Milwaukee series. Come fourth quarters, okay, I still got it in me. Let's go.
Yeah.
Now I'm taking over, and y'all get out of my way because I got it.
I think that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. Like that, especially Game 4. That's what I was trying to say. Like when KD saw it wasn't really his night. He shouldn't have kept giving so much energy and scoring. He should have tried to get more teammates involved, because you could tell after a while, after he kept trying to score and insert his will, he really just kind of exhausted himself because he was trying to score so much. And then when the teammates had to do something, they weren't in rhythm because KD wasn't trying to get them involved.
Right.
Should Nash have benched Harden?
One of the best cases of making a player better I've seen was LeBron and Kyrie versus Golden State when they were down 3-1. Because y'all remember game 4? Game 5. Kyrie shot horrible.
Game 4.
Kyrie shot horrible. Remember that next game 5, LeBron picked Kyrie's head up. He came on his back, and I think LeBron had 40 something. Kyrie also had 40.
They both got 41.
Like 37.
Yeah, from that game 4 when Kyrie was like, "What the hell is going on?" to game 5 when they both had 40 apiece, all the way down to game 7 and Kyrie making that game-winning 3 in the last seconds. That was like one of the best. That was one of the best examples I've seen of making a player or a team better as far as LeBron or KD.
Yeah, and I agree with that. I agree with the mentality, right? Like Kyrie had a mental toughness. Yeah, Kyrie had a mental toughness that LeBron imparted in him, right? When you get to the finals, you get that far. I think Kyrie's knee blown out. He wasn't able to help him prior. But would you say that, because I hear the argument that LeBron makes teammates better, but a lot of times when I think about the other argument that people make on the other side of the tracks, saying LeBron would have been a better player had he played, and Kobe too, had he played in college, because they would have learned how to play multiple systems. Like Jordan got to have Dean Smith as a coach. No, I mean not a Dean Smith, but yeah, Dean Smith.
Yeah, Dean
but
Smith.
they learned how to play in systems. When you play with LeBron, you have to play in what's called a LeBron system. A lot of people say that because, just like Harden, we're saying now, and even Luka, sometimes they dribble the air out of the ball. Sometimes they only can play in a certain way where everyone, sometimes people get turned into spot-up shooters. People like Kevin Love, people like Chris Bosh. So is the LeBron system actually bad for players?
I think the gray area is this: where sometimes we get lost in the definition of making a player better,
right,
and making the game easier for a player.
So does Bron, what do you say the Bron system makes
being on the floor makes the game that much easier for the other players on the floor with me? With that argument, I would say KD
makes
the players better. I'm just making the game a whole lot easier for them while they're on the floor with me. That may be
if Kevin Durant is on the floor, and I'm an offensive scorer, like maybe like a Clay or a Westbrook, how is KD finding all this attention, even as a decoy, even a hobbled Harden drew defenders? So can't KD be making players better just by being KD?
That's what I'm saying. Sometimes being on the floor, being a presence on the floor, period, makes the game that much easier for the other players. That isn't necessarily making them better.
Yeah,
it's just making the situation that much easier for them to operate in.
But you can't double team that.
Yeah, like say Westbrook. Like I said, Westbrook started the first quarter on fire. Second quarter, they start double teaming. He falls off. KD comes on. He catches fire second quarter. Third quarter, he comes back on just the same. Third to fourth quarter, if KD is on, Westbrook is going to have more opportunistic offensive situation just by KD being on the floor and having a hot hand. Now, let's say KD doesn't even play that game. Westbrook catches fire the first quarter. He gets double teamed the second and goes cold.
Sometimes
that player being on the floor makes the game that much easier.
Yeah.
And people tend to say that's them making that player better. No.
Yeah, that's fact.
Sometimes being on the floor makes the game that much easier. And sometimes that gets lost in the definition of them making a player better. You have to learn to differentiate between the two. That's what I'm saying. It's a very broad topic and a fine line at the same time.
Yeah, I agree.
So can I ask this question?
Sure.
So just to maybe find some correlation. So is Kevin Durant Randy Moss?
Yeah, right. He's a Julio Jones. I'll call him Julio Jones because Julio's hurt sometimes and he's just a decoy and he gotta defend him.
Yeah, but
I say Randy Moss is the perfect comparison. I say Randy Moss perfect comparison.
Okay, yeah, I agree with that then. Moss, for sure.
Like you think about, because Moss obviously was a physical talent, a physical freak. He could literally scare the crap out of defenses. So the receiver on the other side of him, and I'm not going to put Chris Carter in that conversation, but like a Nate Burleson or a Wes Welker or somebody like that could get off because of how much attention Randy Moss could draw. But I don't know if Moss necessarily made those guys better because he was their teammate. It's just the attention he could draw. And because of his physical gifts, kind of like KD, makes the game easier for guys like that.
I agree. I agree with that.
Yeah, like for me,
I can see it.
Like for me, when Westbrook was with KD, I don't think KD made Westbrook better. I personally to me, Westbrook wasn't at his best when he was with KD. I just think KD kind of minimized, what kind of weakness, what Russ's weaknesses that were put on display. Like you didn't hear people destroying Russ for his weaknesses as much when he was with KD the majority of the time. Yeah, he had his weaknesses, but they weren't. I don't think people talked about them as much when KD was there because he didn't have the spotlight wasn't necessarily as much on him, you know. So I think when KD left, I think Russ was better, but you know, you saw what was wrong with Russ's game. Like his weaknesses were put on display when KD left.
Yeah, that's fair.
All right, so I'm gonna go around for this one. The top 5. I'm gonna start with you on this one, Nelson. I'm gonna start with you with this one.
Okay.
The top 5, the best players that played for the Orlando Magic. Top 5.
The Orlando Magic. Where did that come from?
Orlando Magic.
In the history of the franchise.
In the history, I was going through the Clippers, but I want to make sure.
The top three
because I'm going off.
The top 3 is easy though. The top 3 is easy, just about that 4 and 5.
Yeah, Dwight Howard number 1. Okay. I'm gonna go Dwight Howard number 1 just because Shaq didn't stay there very long, and Dwight was able to put together 3 consecutive Defensive Player of the Year awards. So
Yes, he did.
Yeah, he lost in the finals. He got dunked on by Kobe. Remember the dunk with Kobe?
I think you're so right. I forgot about that.
I think the top 4 is easy for me though. Top 4 is easy.
Yeah, top. I think that's, and then I think Shaq has to be. Well, damn, it's hard because Penny. So I would say, shit. So I was in no particular order. Dwight Howard, Shaquille O'Neal, Penny Hardaway. Man, I don't want to say Turkoglu, man. That's crazy. That's crazy, but
you missed the key name, man. You missed the key name right now.
Okay, help me out. Give me a lifeline.
His name is T-Mac.
Oh yeah. Oh my god. Antonio Brown is rolling over his grave right now, man. Antonio Brown is rolling over his grave. Yeah, T-Mac, 100%. Yeah. So T-Mac led the league in scoring twice. Especially the fact that Grant Hill joined the team and wasn't Grant Hill that everybody expected. So T-Mac had to lift a lot of load, and he was young. So yeah, T-Mac. So I'll definitely say Dwight, Penny, T-Mac, Shaq, and then that 5th guy.
That's where it's tough.
I might have to say Turkoglu just because of how Dwight fed Turkoglu, and Turkoglu got to be the scorer. He got to be the guy who got all the glory during the Dwight era. So I might have to go Turkoglu with that.
All right, what about you, Troll God?
Well, those first 4 are definitely locked in. You have to go Dwight, Shaq, Penny, T-Mac. I'm trying to remember, didn't Steve Francis play with Orlando?
Yeah, he was trash.
He was trash, man. Shit, you got Grant Hill, you got Aaron. Aaron, you got only throw Aaron up in there because possibly because of the dunk contest, but he didn't win. Jeez, that 5th one is
it's tough.
Yeah, very fucking tough. Yeah. Shit. I don't even know who
they had Oladipo for a little while. They had Oladipo for a while. They had
I don't even know who you can put at number 5.
I'm just gonna go with the flow. But oh my god. Okay. Anyways, let me start over.
I mean, you could throw Nick Anderson up there, but only because he was on it. He was in that prime Orlando team when they had that run.
But Nick Anderson, 3D Dennis.
I don't even know who to put at number 5, man. Do they even have a 5th option? Jesus.
Yeah, I might have to go to Google.
Yeah.
I might have to go to Google.
I can't go to Google.
I'll give Nick Anderson that 5 spot. That's what I'll give him. I'll give Nick Anderson.
Yeah, because Grant in Orlando wasn't Grant in Detroit, so you can't just throw Grant at 5.
Okay, let me get the thing pulled out real quick. One moment.
Jesus, y'all can come back to me on the fifth one. Keep it moving, man. Shit.
That's tough.
Where's my second phone? I need to Google some shit.
Yeah, July.
Go ahead, Sean. Go ahead, Sean. I think you got my 5, Sean. Go ahead, Sean.
So as Orlando's my hometown, I I can speak to this pretty well, and I'm gonna go in order. The number one spot is Shaq. No disrespect to Dwight Howard, but Shaq put that franchise on the map the day he got there. Again, I'm not a Magic fan, I'm a Heat fan, but the excitement in the city and the 4 years he was there, even though he wasn't there as long as Dwight, his peak was better than Dwight's in Orlando's, even though he wasn't there as long. So, Shaq, number one. Number two, I would say Dwight, even though, he's a clown and a big man baby, and he need to do something about his goddamn hair, but that's another story for another day. But yeah, Dwight, number two, Penny, number three. Again, Shaq and Penny was going to be Magic and Kareem 2.0. And it only lasted about 3 years, which sucked for Magic fans, but, it is what it is. Number four, T-Mac, obviously, only there for 4 years, but T-Mac did his thing. He became a superstar and a household name in Orlando. And number five is going to be an interesting one. It's actually Horace Grant.
That's what I was wondering.
Yeah, it's actually Horace Grant, because as good as Shaq was, as Young Penny was, Horace Grant. Really, he was the first person that chose Orlando in free agency. And he took them from a contender to a true, championship level franchise. And he was the perfect fit, for that team. So I think I got Horace Grant at number five. But I'm gonna give special consideration to Mike Miller. A lot of people don't talk about Mike Miller in Orlando. But Mike Miller was really good in Orlando, Rookie of the Year in Orlando, and did well next to T-Mac those few years.
Yeah, and see, he pulled up Vucevic on the screen. I got a 100% pushback against that. I got 100% hate on Vucevic because I hate on him the same way I hate on Kevin Love when he was on the Timberwolves, because man, them dudes can rack up them 20-point, 20 rebound games, bro. And that shit don't translate whenever it comes to like playoffs and like big time having to win games and shit. So Vucevic is cold. I would love Vucevic. Literally, I would add him to any squad. Like my two squads, my favorite squads are the Rockets and the Thunder. I would add Vucevic to both squads, but his stats are very cartoony, balloony. Just like Kevin Love's was on the T-Wolves. When I saw Kevin Love's stats and he was putting up 20 points, 20 rebounds every game, and everybody was loving Kevin Love when he was on the T-Wolves, man, I was like Skip Bayless, boy. I was hating on him so hard because I was like, man, look, you can. I hate the word stat pad because of how people treat Russ Westbrook, but it was stat padding, man. Fuck that.
My first time meeting Shaq and Penny was in Orlando in '95. I was actually stationed out there when I was in the Navy. I was in tech school down there in Orlando, right across from Colonial City Mall. We went to the club in Edenville, Florida, right outside Orlando, called Club Heroes.
Yeah, Heroes.
Shaq and Penny just happened to walk into the club. Like all you saw was two tall, dark ass shadows. Like, what? Oh shit, Shaq and Penny.
Yeah, Heroes used to be the lick in Orlando in the 90s. Like
that was 95, bro. Actually, that was like around September, October 95. Yeah, we went to Club Heroes. We left base and went out there, and then we met Shaq and Penny in the club that night.
I saw Scottie Pippen at a strip club in Dallas called La Cabaret L'Affaire. It's like an all nude BYOB.
You said Scottie Pippen.
This dude, he was at the bar. I'm like, who is this tall ass nigga? And then turn around, you see big ass nose. I'm like, oh, that's Scottie Pippen, man. That's Scottie Pippen. But hey, you know what, man? On the cool, I could tell he was turned up. I could tell that, like, he be having that look, like he be that look that he got now, where he got the long hair and he always looks so like high and shit. He had that same look, man. And I'm like, that's Scottie Pippen. My boy was like pointing him out.
Yeah. He said Scottie Pippen in strip club. I knew it was a true story.
Oh yeah, it was.
I believe it too. I believe it for sure. I seen Lamar Odom at a pizza place a couple weeks ago, bro. Funniest thing ever, bro. Like I would just get my pizza, like, you know, I was about to go home. I was at Blaze Pizza, about to go home. And I seen this big dude, this big bald head dude walk in the door. I'm like, bro, I knew it was somebody. I was like, oh yeah, that's Lamar Odom, bro.
Yeah,
I knew right away.
Yeah. Anything that.
Hey, July.
Shout out Lamar Odom, man. I think that's one of the best, one of the most. I think Lamar Odom, his career was so underrated, man. As far as the fact that he was
it's underappreciated.
Damn near 7 foot, like 6'11", damn near point guard in Rhode Island.
Hey,
like that's crazy. And then and during the Gasol era in LA, man, that dude was amazing, bro. Like,
yeah, he was like 6'11" and had handles
and could rebound.
So he was like, I'm talking about like street ball level handles. I seen him do some dudes filthy.
And he could shoot lefty. So I mean, man,
Troll God, give me your top Lakers players.
Lamar Odom, if he wanted, could have been the best player in the NBA if he wanted to.
Facts.
I mean, he had the skills, man.
Top 5 greatest Lakers of all time.
Oh God!
Wait, say it one more time. Say what? One more
time. Top 5 greatest Lakers of all time.
Magic number 1.
Yeah, Magic number 1. It's not even debate.
Magic number 1.
Magic number 1. Kobe, Kareem, Magic, Shaq, Kobe.
In that order, Trogar?
No, I'm at top 5 all time.
I think I got it. I would say I would go Magic. I would go. I'll say Kobe. I didn't go. No. Kobe, Shaq. I don't know. It's tough. I'm not gonna go in the order. That's just hard. I would just go Magic, Kobe, Shaq, Kareem. Then would you go Jerry West?
Yeah.
There we go.
Yeah, I would have to. I agree with your 5, but I don't agree with the order.
So yeah,
I just have a good order after that.
No order. Okay, no more. My bad.
Okay, I'm going in order.
Oh, in order. Oh,
and spoiler alert: Shaq is not in the top 5.
Oh shit!
Oh,
Shaq is not in the top 5.
Okay.
Much respect to him, but he's not in the top 5. He just missed it. So I got Magic 1. I have Kareem 2. I have Kobe 3.
Okay.
Excuse me. I have Jerry West 4.
All right.
And I have Elgin Baylor 5.
I didn't get mad at that.
Yeah. Okay, and I knew it was gonna be Elgin. So I agree with everything you said, except I'm gonna switch. I'm gonna switch Kobe and Kareem for this reason. Kareem gave some of his genius to the Bucks. He gave some of his chance to the Bucks. He didn't have it all the time. He didn't have all of it. So also Kobe got 5 rings. Yes, Shaq was pivotal with the first 3, but I'll argue this. On that 3rd ring, Shaq realized that Kobe was better than him, and that's what caused them to lose against the Pistons the next year in the finals.
I don't think that's what caused them to lose against the Pistons.
But the rift, plus snitching on each other for cheating on each other's wives. But
I think the Pistons just came with a good strategy. I mean, they just said we're gonna let Kobe shoot on the game. That's what the strategy was.
Yeah, I think Kobe.
Could you argue that Magic Johnson made Kareem's career elongated?
I think every big man needs a solid
perimeter guy. Like you need some perimeter guy.
Borderline all-star Hall of Fame wing to be great.
Facts.
Yeah, most big men are not going to be great without the wing because you got to have somebody to get you the ball. I mean, I know this is a new age NBA, but back in the day, the center actually needed somebody to get the ball down. There was a center who was in the center of the offense.
Right.
So yeah. So and again, I don't think people really know how great Kareem was. Particularly in the 70s, because the 70s kind of the dark ages of the NBA. But Magic did elongate his career, I will admit, but Magic had a lot of flaws in his game early, particularly in the half court, that Kareem really covered up. And as Kareem, and again, I go back to the 84 finals against the Celtics. That's when you saw Magic's flaws really heightened and come out. And so Magic had to go get better. Kareem was getting older. So, and that's not to slight Magic on any level. He was capping on Ben Simmons last week. Magic obviously, is all-time great. But Kareem, if you just take basketball, he's probably the greatest ever if you look at high school, college, and pro.
He definitely made younger Magic better, like because when Magic first came in the league, he couldn't shoot, man.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. And I will say that Kareem lived up to the most hype of any player outside of LeBron because, like you said, it was before the social media age, before internet age, before all this, and he had a national hype level out of high school. Lived up to that unbelievable hype, unprecedented hype. In college, won a championship. Again, lived up to that hype coming out of the draft. So, we've never seen nothing like it until LeBron. I would say maybe Zion has got a lot of hype. You know what I'm saying? As far as basketball and media and stuff. But nothing compares to LeBron and Kareem as far as national, sometimes I would even call it global anticipation or hype, for them. But you said the big man. No, because Kobe was really kind of unknown when he came into the league. He set the bench, played against Utah, a couple of the bench airball game against Utah.
I don't know about that, bro.
And the thing about Kobe, we have to remember in the narrative of Kobe Bryant with the Lakers, Kobe did not have to come in and be the man from day one. Right, that was a very talented roster when he got there. So it gave him time to grow into his own and come into his own. So I always wonder if Kobe had to come in and be that guy from day one, would he have become the Kobe that we know now? I don't know. Because
that's the argument that people use against Tim Duncan over Kobe. They say Tim Duncan playing college came in, was the man immediately.
Yes, he was.
I think Tim Duncan is better than Kobe.
I have Tim Duncan higher on my.
I tend to forget.
Me too.
What pick was Kobe?
13. 15 or 16?
13.
13, yeah.
Kareem was number one.
Yeah, Kareem was the number one overall pick. And remember, Kareem went to an expansion franchise. And in their second year of existence, takes them to the championship, and they win a championship.
That's crazy, man. And so when I see that both of you guys agree with me with Tim Duncan over Kobe. That's a very controversial statement in the group because the group loves Kobe so much they don't understand what he's saying.
I don't know why.
I mean, to me, expect the kickback. Expect the people to hate on us.
I mean, to me, it's not hard to break down. I mean, if you're comparing their careers, I think Tim Duncan had the better overall career. It's not that hard to break down to me.
Okay. Do you think that Isaiah Thomas? Because I know Sean earlier spoke about how the big man was the key to offenses in the past. Do you think Isaiah Thomas was a guy who opened the floodgates for the perimeter guy to win a chip? Because you want two chips as the main guy for the Detroit Bad Boys. And before that, we hadn't seen perimeter guys being the key to championships. Even the 76ers had Moses Malone.
Right.
So would you say that Isaiah Thomas opened the floodgates for guys like Harden and MJ and Kobe and all, like where the perimeter guys now the big star, opposed to like Kareem. Tim Duncan was old school. He brought him back to the center. But it seems like modern times, Isaiah Thomas, Zeke was the guy to be like, you know what, fuck it, I'm the leader. We winning the championship because I said so.
So I would, and CA is the native Detroit fan, so I know he wants to chime in on this. Yeah. I think what people don't really realize, obviously Isaiah Thomas is an all-time great, but part of what made them special was Bill Laimbeer was kind of a new age center because he was not just an irritant, he was also a guy who could step out and he could stretch the floor. And so the Pistons it became an illegal offense where basically it'd be Laimbeer and Isaiah on one side of the floor stretched, and they'd have everybody else spread out on the other side of the floor, and the offense basically became an illegal offense. So Laimbeer was incredibly important to what they did in the non-traditional sense because he wasn't a guy you dump the ball to in the post, but his ability to stretch the floor and be that pick and pop big made that Pistons team very unique offensively. Isaiah was the catalyst, but Laimbeer was incredibly important to that.
Yeah. I mean, I would say personally, I would say, I was going to bring up Laimbeer. Like, Laimbeer, he kind of brought a different aspect, to the game that we didn't really see very much before, just his ability to stretch the floor. But I think just the Pistons as a team, that kind of changed the dynamic because if you think about the Pistons, I think, honestly, like a big part of their core was just their guards in general. They kind of had, three main guards. They had Vinnie Johnson, and then they had Joe Dumars, and they had Isaiah Thomas. So like just those three guys in general, like I think it really changed a lot, and they really had they kind of had two teams on that team, like they had the starters, and then that bench was crazy too. So I think a lot of it had to do, with their depth that they were able to pull off what they did. So yeah.
And you think
similar to the current Detroit team that won against the Lakers, like they were a team game. It was Richard Hamilton, Rasheed Wallace,
and it was, and to CA's point, right? Like you think about their bigs, like they started the first year they had Mahorn and Laimbeer. But they would come in with Rodman, they come in with Buda Edwards. Like they were John Sally. They had like five guys they could rotate between the 4 and the 5 that were all very unique. And it just made them a very difficult matchup. And then the first year, the year they lost to the Lakers, they had Adrian Dantley, who's a Hall of Famer, one of the best ball forwards ever. And then obviously they moved him to get Mark Aguirre. So they had a lot of unique pieces, and I think they were just a difficult matchup.
Yeah, even Benny Johnson, the microwave.
Yeah, I mean, just and they could throw a 5 out on the floor with you, and they'd always have a mismatch somewhere because they were just that uniquely built. And that's their GM Jack McCloskey. He was just not afraid to make deals. Like his nickname was Trader Jack because he was not afraid to make deals. Like he was just that dude. So yeah.
And even Rodman back then was like, that was so special. But I do want to hear from Kenny, because he did stress in order. So I need to hear your 5 LA, the order of the LA top 5. That's difficult, man.
That's why I couldn't do it, bro. I couldn't do it.
So as far as a credit, I can definitely.
I struggle. See, I struggle with the Shaq not being at all in the top 5. But I also struggle with Kobe and Kareem, because I almost want to put Kareem third. Kobe second.
Why are you pressuring me, Alex?
The reason why I have
okay. Because like she said that you're not supposed to tell them that you're giving them credit, but like
their
how else am I
individual
supposed to
as
get $10 off? You know what I
Kareem
mean?
has more. But again,
so I can't tell them that I can apply a $10 credit to their
if you said he was 2, I wouldn't argue with it, because I think Kobe's longevity, obviously he played his entire career for the Lakers, where Kareem was there for 14 years. But I don't necessarily. I tell you all the time. I know guys who've been married for 20 years as terrible husbands.
They can definitely. It won't say future. They can definitely.
Okay, so it's like
doesn't matter how they leave. Doesn't matter how they leave. Like Kobe demanded a trade back before he got Gasol. He demanded a trade 2 years in a row.
Right. Yeah.
On the Stephen A. Smith show, but he wasn't traded. So if he would have got his wish and got traded, would we look at him as a lesser Laker?
Without question. I mean, so let me just say, I know why the Lakers retired both of his numbers. I don't think it was necessary, but I understand why they did it.
So I mean, you really helped me guide me through.
I don't think it's necessary. You just take one of the numbers out of rotation, you got to retire and hang both jerseys up like it's the same person. And then like, one of them had an afro, the other one didn't. Like that's only different. Whatever. But anyway, but yeah, no, listen. Kobe obviously 20 years with one franchise. In the age of the NBA where guys are starting to move more, that has to be respected. But if I just look at individual greatness, and again, the other reason why I don't have Kobe ahead of Kareem is because Magic's the greatest point guard ever. I think Kareem is the greatest center ever. Right.
Whenever
Kobe the greatest anything ever? The greatest shooting guard ever? No.
I think that I just want to know what kind of like what I need to tell them. Like if I forget something, I can
see. Can't Kareem be higher on the all-time player list, but lower than Kobe on the Laker list? You know what I'm saying? Like he's a better player as an all-time great. You're a better player than Kobe Bryant, but Kobe Bryant meant more to the Lakers than Kareem did.
Hey Nelson, I'm gonna be real with you. I got Magic first. The reason I got Magic first over Kareem, I mean Kareem, I do think he's the GOAT as far as basketball wise, but Lakers wise, I think Magic came in. Kareem probably should have been Finals MVP that first year, but they gave it to Magic just because Kareem got hurt. They actually gave it to Magic, but Kareem probably should have got it. But I think the fact that Magic, he came in, he got everything that he did in his career was with the Lakers. Even that little thing he did was head coach, which he was terrible at it. But more all NBA first teams, Magic. He averaged the most assists in league history for the Lakers. 3 regular season MVPs with the Lakers. I think Kareem has 3 with the Lakers as well too, right?
Yeah, 3. Yeah.
Magic 3 came when the Lakers was winning championships. Magic 3 Finals MVP. So I got Magic first. I got Kareem second because Magic came out and said he came out early to play with Kareem. That was one of the reasons he came out early to play with Kareem. I got Kareem second. I got Kobe third. Obviously, the 20 years with the Lakers. All those points, all those assists. All defensive team. One of the best two-way players when it comes to defense. So I got Kobe third. I got West fourth. Even though West don't have he don't have a regular season MVP or Finals MVP. Which one is it?
He doesn't have a regular season MVP, but he's got a Finals MVP.
Okay, he got a Finals MVP and a loss, right?
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
he's the only player.
He got one championship too.
One chip.
Yeah, but what he did for the Lakers, even though him and Baylor was losing all those finals, he was still getting those teams there. He ended up winning one with Will. But as far as points averages, he's up there. All NBA teams, All-Star games, the logo. I think you gotta have Jerry West 4, and I got over at Baylor. I got Shaq 5.
So Shaq over Elgin Baylor.
I got Shaq over Elgin Baylor. The most dominant.
It's just hard for me. It's just hard for me to not put a dude that got 3 finals at that franchise out of the top 5. It's hard. It's hard.
The reason why I don't have Shaq in my top 5.
And it did a little something.
I argue again. Shaq's definitely in the top 10.
That's why I think that's why also I've been off.
There are times where I feel even when he was with the Lakers and win those 3 Finals MVPs that he was underachieving.
It was $1,000.
That's right.
Baylor and West obviously went up against the greatest dynasty in the history of sports. consistently and just didn't have enough. And
I never had
and again, Baylor, even though he had retired the year they won the championship because of an injury, he was still putting in work. So, and again, I think Elgin Baylor obviously, probably doesn't get his just due, but Elgin Baylor was MJ before MJ. Without Elgin Baylor, there's no Dr. J, there's no Michael Jordan. That's how good Elgin Baylor was. And still holds the finals record for most points in the game in the NBA Finals with 61.
I agree with you. I mean, I agree with you about Elgin. He was the blueprint or the prototype, right? And if we did a top 10 for the Lakers, people might be mad at me where I put James Worthy. I put him real high as well. But I agree with you on Elgin Baylor.
James Worthy's in the top 10 too.
Hey, before we get into a little football, I just wanted to go back on what we all was talking about with the Pistons. With the Lakers and the Pistons, the Lakers actually didn't lose to the Pistons the next year. I think they got swept by the Spurs after they won their third championship. They got swept by the Spurs.
Yeah, they got beat by the Spurs.
Yeah,
that's right.
Then they lost to the Pistons. But like CA
that was the
saying,
last year that Shaq and Kobe was together.
Yeah,
that was 2004. They lost to the Pistons 4-1.
What are we gonna do to get my phone on though?
Yeah, and I think what CA was saying about the Pistons just had a good game plan. I think I 100% agree with that. Like the Pistons just had a good game plan surrounding Kobe. Like there was they game plan surrounding Kobe to make him take bad shots.
I think it was like Tayshaun Prince leading the way. I mean, that dude is really tall. Like you know what I'm saying, as far as the defender. So they put
and I hold it for way
regularly on Kobe. There's a lot of like times where he's getting swatted like on layups and stuff. Prince is like swatting his layup right off the backboard. It's kind of embarrassing.
He was long too. Like he was very long.
Yeah.
He was long, and it was Prince, it was Michael Curry, it was Lindsey Hunter, Rip Hamilton had a try at him. Like they were throwing multiple defenders at him. And to CA's point, Kobe's gonna shoot them out of. He's gonna shoot them out of this series, and he did.
Yeah, and I blame Shaq a little bit too because I could tell that the chemistry or the trust between them two had broken. Like
the
you see that they didn't like.
I mean, like even Shaq mad at himself. Like even Shaq, I remember when Shaq and Kobe had a reunion. I remember Shaq was mad at himself. He's like, "Man, they had a 6'8" center guarding me 1-on-1 the whole series. Why didn't I take advantage of that?" Like he was mad at himself. Like,
don't say that.
I mean, Ben Wallace was a great defender. I mean, we ain't gonna deny that, but he's still way smaller than Shaq. Like,
I mean, when it came to Ben Wallace and Shaq, Ben Wallace got the better of Shaq in the playoffs. When you talk about when Shaq was at the Lakers, when you talk about when Shaq was at the Heat, Ben Wallace
he killed Shaq Game 5 though, like at that finals. Like I think he got 19 and 20 on him, but
yeah, Shaq was
wild. Not even a scorer.
This is like
hey, so I got this posted up on the screen. I just want to talk football for a little bit.
I gotta head out though. I may come in later, but I gotta head out.
For sure. Sean, you don't know this, Sean. I'm a big Packers fan when it comes to football. Green Bay Packers. Okay. That's my team. That's my heart. Green Bay Packers. I
can't believe you ain't the Saints fan, but that's concerning. But that's neither here nor
there. When we moved to Louisiana when I was 6. When I first started watching football,
can I take this apart?
The Saints were sorry. they
were sorry. Wayne talked about that.
the Saints
there was no Saints fan.
Yeah, like you would go in Walmart, you would see Dallas Cowboys gear, and you wouldn't see Saints gear. That's how bad it was. But a lot of my family was from Mississippi, and Mississippi, all they had was Brett Favre. All they had was Brett Favre. Mm-hmm. So that's how I became a Packers fan.
Okay.
But as far as that goes, right here I got the top. I got Joe Montana and Tom Brady on the Mount Rushmore quarterbacks in football. Who you think the other 2 slots should be for?
I was literally editing a video.
Man!
It was downloading. And
so let me put this caveat out right now. I hate Tom Brady. Always have, always will.
Or at least I thought he died, but he really died.
I think he's the greatest winner at the position ever. But I'm not sure he deserves to be on this Mount Rushmore. That being said, he's on there, so I'm not even going to look at him. It's hard for me not to put Peyton Manning on there. Just the individual talent that he was. Obviously, Peyton Manning, I think, definitely. And I'm going to be honest with you. I'd have Aaron Rodgers on there.
So I got my argument for Aaron Rodgers. I want to hear your argument for Aaron Rodgers.
I think Aaron Rodgers, as an individual physical talent, is the best I've ever seen play the quarterback position. And I never thought I'd see anybody better than Dan Marino. Aaron Rodgers is that good. I don't think people really know how good he is. People are going to look and say, "Oh, he's only got one Super Bowl." His team only has one Super Bowl, and it's not because. But if you
Marino has 0, so
yeah, and Marino has none. So I'm not one of the people who are like, "Well, you got this many Super Bowls." No, your team won that many. That's why I say Tom Brady is the greatest winner at the position ever, but he ain't the GOAT. Because I've seen better physical talents at position than Tom Brady that I would choose over Tom Brady any day. Plus, he MAGA, and I'd run him over my car if I saw him.
Hey, in a vacuum, is Peyton Manning a more talented quarterback than Tom Brady?
I think
in a vacuum.
I think he is.
If Peyton Manning had Bill Belichick, does he have six rings?
I think if Peyton Manning has Tony Dungy his entire career, we're talking about Peyton Manning in a different light.
Those some of his disappointing playoff years, really, I think that it ruined the perception of him. People, I'll blame Skip Bayless too. Skip Bayless popularized the phrase. Yeah, Skip Bayless popularized the phrase calling Peyton Manning the best regular season quarterback of all time. It was like a backhanded compliment that I think people just ran with it when they heard him say that.
Yeah.
Hey, so as you look in our sports group on Facebook, we got 3,000 people in this group. At least 3,000 people. About 2,000 of those people are Saints fans. Because we based out of, I live in Austin, Texas. I live in Austin, Texas, but I'm from Louisiana. We based out of Louisiana. So at least 2,000 of those people are Saints fans. I've been having this argument for about 3-4 years that Aaron Rodgers is better than Drew Brees. Now,
he is, man. I got much respect for Drew.
Me too.
And quiet as kept, I'm a huge Sean Payton fan, not just because he spells his name right, but I just think he's just a very good football coach. And I'm excited to see what he does with Jameis Winston. You know, I don't have a football team right now because I let the Bucks go a while ago.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, but the Saints are definitely on my list of teams I'm looking at to be.
You let the Bucks go during the good times? Go because of Brady.
No. Listen. You gotta understand though. I go back to Doug Williams, and I saw how they did.
Oh, okay, gotcha. Yeah, you going way back.
And I saw how they did Tony Dungy. And the truth is, I should have let it go after we let Tony Dungy go, but I hung in there. And then we got Jameis because I'm a Florida State guy, and I was like, okay, I'm gonna ride with him. And they dogged Jameis out, and they didn't do anything to help him. As soon as you get Brady, now you want to go get Fournette, and you want to go get Antonio Brown, you want to upgrade the offensive line. And it's like, well, where was all this when Jameis was there? So I was like, F him. That's literally, I don't cut, but I was like, F him. You know, so
now I have heard an argument in favor of John Gruden. It was I want to say it was like an ESPN 30 for 30, or it was like an ESPN NFL Films is great about getting old heads together and letting them talk, right?
Right.
Belichick and some people talking, and they had to admit that Tony Dungy was a nice guy to the extent that it almost hurt him. Like he was able to implement and put in a cover 2 into the Tampa Bay defense. He was able to implement and change a certain culture, but they said that he hit a wall that players couldn't get past until Gruden got there. Gruden got Derek Brooks, I think Warren Sapp, Simeon Rice. There was a couple other guys on that defense as I say, Gruden added an extra, like a primal animalistic anger or something, an edge that Gruden was able to give them that Dungy could not. And the argument was that Dungy would not have won a chip when Gruden was able to take, almost kind of like how the Steve Kerr, Mark Jackson argument, where Mark Jackson helped. There's Rick Bueller was a beat writer for the Warriors at the time. He said,
right,
Mark Jackson installed the defensive mindset. Mark Jackson gave Draymond Green a lot of confidence that people don't realize because of they're confused by David Lee being there.
Right.
But David Lee had to start because the money was paid. They said Mark Jackson started a lot of the defensive mindset, gave Clay and Steph, I think 2 years before anybody even recognized it. He stated, Mark Jackson came out and said, Steph and Clay is the best shooting backcourt of all time. People thought it was crazy when he said that. Now it looks like a prophet. But the argument was Kerr took them further than what Mark Jackson could do. And that's the argument I heard about Dungy. They said Dungy was a nice guy. He was too nice, and Gruden took them further than what Dungy could do.
So I'll answer that for you, Nelson. I'm gonna go ahead and clear that up right now. So you have to know what the Buccaneers were before Tony Dungy got there. It was bad, and it was bad for 20 years. And he comes in and he changes the culture, and because again he's got Sapp and Brooks who are in their second year when he gets there. They got John Lynch who's in their fourth year, in his fourth year. So they start building a culture and they start drafting well and they start putting together the right team.
Mike All-Star,
Warwick Dunn. It's it's coming together like Rondé Barber and Donnie Abraham, and I could go on and on about that team. The issue Dungy had was he's a disciple of Chuck Noll and Marty Schottenheimer, which means he is all about ball control. They're going to play great defense. He did not necessarily demand a lot from the offense in terms of scoring the football. His thing was, we can win games. We'll win games 9-7. We'll win games 14-10. I'm okay with that. What a lot of people don't realize, that defense from 1996 to 2002 only gave up 16.6 points per game.
And they scored touchdowns, which is crazy.
So the last year Dungy's there, the offense averages 20.3 points per game. Gruden comes in, and the defense, who was already ascending, because again at that point it added Simeon Rice and you had Booker McFarland, you had Shelton Quarles, you had Dwight Smith on the back end, the defense was set. The offense was the issue because it didn't always score, and again a lot of it was because Brad Johnson, of course, we called it Keyshawn Johnson because they were paying Keyshawn Johnson to be the number one receiver he never was, and they couldn't score. And so Gruden comes in, and they go from averaging 20.3 points per game in Dungy's last year to 21.3 points per game in Gruden's first year. So you're telling me
not much of an improvement.
It's not. So it wasn't Gruden. That team was already there. It was just they just needed the breaks, and they got the breaks, and they went on to win the Super Bowl. Tony Dungy, I always tell people it's like a biblical comparison, right? If y'all ever read the Bible, if y'all ain't never read the Bible, read the Bible.
I'm big on the Bible, man.
No, so Moses didn't get into the promised land.
Right.
Joshua led the children of Israel into the promised land, but it wasn't because Joshua was
Moses did all the work. Yeah,
Moses did all the work.
All the work.
Yeah. So when we talk about the greatest leaders ever, we don't talk about Joshua. We talk about Moses.
Moses, right.
Even though Moses didn't get to the end goal because he wasn't allowed to go into the promised land because of obviously the mistake that he made, not obeying God's instruction. That's what Tony Dungy was. Tony Dungy was Moses. John Gruden was Joshua.
So is the Mark Jackson analogy unfair then? Because maybe
it's unfair.
Okay.
It's unfair because if you look at the Warriors, and I always tell people, watch the Warriors offensively when Mark Jackson's coaching. It's very Steph-centric.
A lot of ISO, yeah.
It's a lot of ISO. It's a lot of Steph left, Steph right. It's very so Does Clay, does Draymond, does Harrison Barnes, do those guys get off if Mark Jackson continues to coach? I don't think so. Also, the big mistake I thought the Warriors made when they signed Andre Iguodala, they moved Harrison Barnes to the bench, and it hurt Harrison Barnes. Well, what Steve Kerr came in, he realized Harrison Barnes is better with the starting five because of his game. They move Andre Iguodala to the bench, and that changes the whole complexion of that team. Obviously, and David Lee going out and Draymond
David Lee going, injured, right?
It changed the whole complexion of that team. So it's not a fair comparison. Mark Jackson to Steve Kerr, Tony Dungy to John Gruden. It's not a fair comparison because
the biblical allegory is better because you're saying that it's more happenstance, circumstance,
right? Yeah.
With like if Dungy was in Tampa.
Right.
Longer, he probably would have got his Super Bowl.
He would have gotten there. Yeah, he would have gotten there. And it's one of those things where, again, Gruden, to me, don't show me what you are when you're winning. Show me what you are when things aren't great. So John Gruden has shown you what he is when he's not winning. He's not good.
Oh, it's ugly. It's ugly.
Because if you take away the Super Bowl season, he's under 500 in Tampa as a head coach. Look at what he's done in with the Raiders. He's been terrible. He's under 500 as a head coach.
They're underperforming.
3 seasons they haven't made the playoffs.
He's not a good coach. He's a guy who got.
He was there with Rich Gannon, right? He was there when the old Moss and the old.
Yeah.
And they went to a home, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So Nelson. The playoffs, 7 teams make the playoffs this year, right? In the NFC, who you got your 4 division winners? Like NFC, who's your 4 division winners?
This is hard, man. This is hard. It's like
I got mine, but
so it's weird that the NFC least gets to get someone to get somebody to go in because. Man, I don't know. Out of the Cowboys or the Eagles, both of teams trash, bro. But, I would say definitely. I'm looking at the Packers. Well, actually, you know what? I'm not sure what's going on with the quarterback.
I'm not sure either. And
so let's go Seattle. Yeah, I believe in Seattle. I believe in the Russell Wilson, DK Metcalf connection. I think a lot of people look at DK as an underperformer or his hype is too early because the comparisons to Megatron is way too soon. And TJ and Lockett is really the true number one. Dead all that. I think DK is a superstar. I think Russell Wilson, they got to figure out a way, and that's on Pete Carroll to fix that offensive line to where Russell Wilson's not running for his fucking goddamn life. Right? So I put Seattle up there. I really like that young black quarterback that the Niners drafted. So when I look at the NFC West, I'm thinking 2 teams are going to make it, and I think the Niners are going to be in there because I think that Debo being healthy is a huge X factor. I really like Brandon Ayuk, and I really like their running schemes with Shanahan, how he can find a way to either get, if Mostert's not hurt, he can find a way to get McKinnon on. I mean, it doesn't matter who's back there. They have great, this like vertical running scheme. So I really like the 49ers, and I like their defense. Also, I like George Kittle a lot. I don't like Minnesota because of Cousins. But I like Jefferson. So I'll say Seattle. I don't like Atlanta because of Matt Ryan, even though I love the stud tight end they drafted. So I'll probably have to go Seattle. Damn, I guess I'm going to just go Eagles just out of bias. Just because they just make the playoffs, just because they the tallest midget in the NFC East. They're the tallest midget. So NFC, what are the other divisions that you have? The NFC
South. NFC South.
Oh yeah, the
NFC
South.
North.
So I'm gonna go Saints. I'm gonna go Saints because I agree with Sean as far as what he said about excited about what Sean Payton does with Jameis. I think Jameis is actually a very explosive player. He's a very explosive player. He's a guy that can, and people don't seem to understand this unless you play fantasy football with him. But this dude can give you 5 touchdowns in a game. He can give you a 400-yard game. So, yes, he throws a lot of interceptions, or he threw a lot of interceptions with Tampa. But I do think that Sean Payton is probably the perfect thing for him. As long as they don't go too crazy with that other gadget quarterback that they got, Taysom Hill. I believe that the Saints are actually a true contender. They play great defense, and playing boy Michael Thomas is actually a good wide receiver. But I think that you're going to see a lot of deep passes, a lot of more explosive play than you saw from Drew Brees with Jameis. I'll go Saints, Seattle, Eagles. You said 17s. Fuck.
No, just the 4 division winners. NFC North.
Oh, okay, yeah. So so Seattle, Saints, Eagles, and who's the other division?
NFC North.
Oh, and that. See, would it be the Packers then? I guess I'm gonna have who's the Bears quarterback outside of? I know it's not.
Andy Dalton.
I know it's not. Oh, it's Dalton.
Dalton, he might be the quarterback for the first 6 games.
And then they have a young boy, right?
They got Justin Fields.
Justin Fields gonna take over probably after week 6.
So yeah, I believe in Fields. So that's hard, man. I'm gonna just say Bears for now, just because I hope that Fields starts.
Well, I think I respectfully disagree with you.
Okay.
On everything.
Okay.
On everything. Wow. Yeah. I disagree. I disagree with you on 3 out of 4, but yeah.
Being a longtime Packers fan, I know how good Matthew Stafford is. Like he's really
on the Rams. Damn, I forgot about that.
I think he's really what the Rams needed. So I got the Rams winning that division. I got Tampa Bay winning that division. I think boys, not because of Tom Brady, because them boys, them young boys who just won a Super Bowl, I think they're gonna come out even more confident this year. I think that linebacker from LSU, I forgot his name. I think he's gonna have Devin White. I think he's gonna have an All-Pro season this year. They resigned Fournette and Brown, huh?
Yes.
Yeah. So I got Tampa Bay.
They got good tight ends too.
Yes. So I got Tampa Bay winning that division. I got Dallas winning that division. I think Dak Prescott. I think he's a real good quarterback. Definitely top 10. He got something to prove this year because last year he had that horrible injury. He was playing good last year before he got injured. But the Cowboys wasn't. He was playing good though. Depending on if Aaron Rodgers come back or not, it's not looking too good for us. If he come back, I got Green Bay winning the division. If not, I'm gonna just go ahead and roll with Minnesota.
You don't think Aaron Rodgers could come back and it still be just like internal beef with the organization, where it's still like it's hard to win because it's too much damn drama?
Man, I think it's beyond repair, bro. Like we didn't. It started off. I mean, we drafted Jordan Love. Okay, that wasn't that bad to me. Drafting Jordan, it was bad, but it wasn't that bad.
It was like a slap in the face.
The bad thing that happened was we drafted AJ Dillon in the 2nd round, but then we resigned. What's that? Aaron. We resigned Aaron Jones this year. Like, why did we draft AJ Dillon in the 2nd round? We just gonna resign Aaron Jones? Like, that don't make sense. And then because we resigned Aaron Jones, we lost our All-Pro center to Cleveland, Corey Linsley. He was an All-Pro center.
Yeah, but they like Jenkins a lot to move to center. When they drafted Elton Jenkins out of Mississippi State, they rejected him that he plays center long term. So I don't think it'll be a drop off with Jenkins moving to center if that's the move they're making.
I hope it's not a drop off. I really hope. But the thing is, I mean, We never paid running backs in the past. Like never. Never paid running backs in the past. And the way that Aaron Jones ended the season, like I just knew for sure he was gone. If y'all don't remember that game we was playing Tampa Bay.
Yeah, I remember.
Well, you remember. Well, we was already down big. We get the ball at halftime after they scored that touchdown to go up 21-10 or whatever. We get the ball at after halftime. Give the ball to Aaron Jones. He fumbled the ball. Tampa Bay scored another touchdown. It's 28-10. Game basically over. So it's just tough.
I like Aaron Jones, but the life of running backs is so short. It's so short. So it's like, damn.
Well, let me ask you this, July.
Aaron Jones.
Yeah.
What's up, Sean?
Let me ask you this, because I know you ain't coming to me yet on this question. So, do you think Aaron Jones is a top 10 running back in the NFL?
Top 10?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely top 10. Top 5?
No, it looks like they were 6 yards to carry.
Top 10. I think he's definitely top 10.
Yeah, I think he's definitely top 10. Yeah. Definitely top 10.
Yeah, he averaged so he was one of my fantasy dark horses for years. Like Aaron Jones, we used to do a thing where I think it was the ESPN fantasy podcast with Matthew Berry. He had a hashtag slogan called "Free Aaron Jones," because this was back when Mike McCarthy was a coach and he wouldn't play Aaron Jones very much. So now they have LaFleur, and Aaron Rodgers is finally able to encourage LaFleur to play Aaron Jones more, and we saw the game that he had against the Cowboys, like 5 touchdowns, 400 yards, something crazy like that. But I've always thought that Aaron Jones, like, wow, this dude averaged damn near 6 yards a carry. The only time I've seen someone like that for a career was Jamal Charles coming out of Texas when he did it in the city. So I do believe in Aaron Jones. My only question or my only concern is the lifespan of running backs and the wear and tear on their body. So when you're seeing fumbles and things like that to end the season, I kind of felt like how you felt, Kenny, that maybe it was over for him in Green Bay, but then they re-signed him. So
this my thing. This my thing, Sean. Aaron Jones definitely a top 10 running back. But if you remember AJ Dillon coming out party when we played national TV, it was the Titans.
Yes.
In that cold weather.
Yeah.
AJ Dillon was the workhorse. And he played good. He played good from that game till on. He played like real good. And I'm thinking, okay, that's the reason why we drafted a second round running back. A running back in the second round. Even though Aaron Jones, the first Matt LaFleur first season, Aaron Jones led the league in touchdowns.
Right. Yeah.
He led the league in touchdowns. But and so at first I was questioning why we, drafted a running back in the second round. But then AJ Dillon had his coming out party, and then Aaron Jones ain't end the season like he should have ended it. So I was coming into free agency thinking that, okay, we're gonna let Aaron Jones go. We're not gonna pay him. We just gonna run it with AJ Dillon. But then we end up resigning Aaron Jones. So what does that make AJ Dillon now?
Yeah, that's true. Just a nigga with tree trunks for thighs.
Yeah. So to me, what it is, July is basically what the Giants had 20 years ago with Tiki Barber and Ron Dang. That is that type of combination where, again, as good as AJ Dillon can be, I don't think he's a 3-down back. Where I think, again, he does keep the wear and tear off of Aaron Jones long term, so he will not fall off during that contract because this is his first, contract extension. So, yeah, I think it was a good deal for Green Bay. That's me. And also, obviously, as Aaron, Rodgers gets older, you don't want Aaron Rodgers having to throw the ball 45, 50 times a game. You want to be able to turn around and hand the ball to AJ Dillon and hand the ball to Aaron Jones and keep, Aaron fresh, for the remainder of his career. Because, again, I think he's coming back. I don't see him not playing there. I'd be shocked if he didn't come back. Because that's just not.
I know.
Yeah. It's so late into the like getting started for off season. Like, what's going on with Aaron Rodgers? Where is he gonna be? Like, if you're not gonna be in Green Bay, he should move now so he can start practicing.
I thought we was gonna trade him on draft night.
They're not trading him. They're not.
Yeah. So like, what's gonna happen? And then why do you draft Jordan Love? Why?
Well, I mean, the best time to draft a quarterback is when you don't need one. That I mean, you look at it.
I found that confusing. Like that's like if I'm the Falcons, I would draft a quarterback for them because, like, do you think the Falcons are going to be any good now that Julio's gone? Are they a non-factor? Is it just going to be the Bucks and the Saints? That's the only people you should worry about.
In our defense of drafting Jordan Love, Matt LaFleur first season, Aaron Rodgers had a mediocre season for his standards. Like I think it was like 26 touchdowns, 7 interceptions, or something like that. That's not.
Wasn't he coming off a collarbone or something like that?
What, the season before?
Like didn't he have like a collarbone or something? Something happened to him.
The season before, but I'm talking about last season. He played all 16 games, and he had a very mediocre season. So drafting Jordan Love Green Bay was looking at Aaron Rodgers. Okay, you're 30 at the time. He was 36 years old. Okay, you're starting to fall off. That's how Green. Now, nobody expected him to have his greatest season ever as a quarterback. 48 touchdowns, 5 interceptions. Nobody expected that. So that was just Aaron Rodgers just showing everybody in the world that he's not he's not going anywhere as far as talent wise going. But yeah, your Ron Dane Tiki Barber comparison. Yeah, it's a good comparison. But I just think we could have saved that money, or we could have paid Corey Lindsey and just got a running back from somewhere else. Because like running backs. Like he's in the
I mean, you just look at Green Bay's history drafting offensive linemen and developing them. They've always done a good job of that, right? I think obviously you pay Bakhtiari, and who's your left tackle, and I think they've always done a good job of developing offensive linemen. So not that Lindsley is trash, because he's not trash. But I just think Elton Jenkins. Watch out for Elton Jenkins. If they move him to center,
I know about him.
I think he's gonna be. He could be one of the best centers in the NFL. He's that good.
Wow.
He's that good. So yeah.
What about the wide receivers? Because like if they fix the offensive line problems that you guys are talking about, what do you got? Like you got Valdez-Scantling. Who's the other receiver on the other side? I mean, obviously Devontae Adams. The other guy, I forgot his name.
Aaron Lazard.
Lazard.
Brown.
Are they enough to help Aaron Rodgers get over the bump of defenses like the Hawks and the Niners and the Bears and these guys? Does he believe in Lazard?
Honestly, I think all the receivers that we have on our roster, including Devontae Adams, is a product of Aaron Rodgers. I think those guys are good. Adams is a good receiver, but playing with Aaron Rodgers make him great. When Adams first came in the league, Adams would drop more passes than he would catch. Like Rodgers developed Adams into a great receiver. Scantling, I compare Scantling to a faster James Jones. James Jones was an okay receiver. When he got to the Giants, he was nothing. But playing with Aaron Rodgers, he led the league in receiving touchdowns one year.
Scantling reminds me of Ted Ginn. Just like fast as hell, but you might drop that. You might drop the pass.
Yeah, he dropped it. Sean, so what was your top 4 division winners?
Yeah, because I want to come back to your Aaron Rodgers makes Devontae Adams. I don't know if So NFC, I have Green Bay winning the North, obviously with the asterisk. Aaron Rodgers comes back, Green Bay wins the North without question. The NFC least, I have Washington winning that division. I think all the teams have flaws, but I tend to go with the team that has the best defense. And the team that I'm least concerned about beating themselves, because obviously Danny Dimes ain't that dude. Why we call him Danny Dimes, I don't know why, because he can't throw the ball. Philadelphia, the Eagles are rebuilding. Clearly on the fly. So I think they're going to be. I don't think they're going to be that great this year. If they win 5 games, they should call it considered a great
success,
season.
right? Yeah.
And Dallas, we know they can score, but the secondary can't cover a twin bed with a king sheet. So no, not right with Dallas. So I got Washington winning that division. I got New Orleans winning the South. Everybody's going to be on the Tampa Bay train because, again, they got hot in the playoffs and, won the Super Bowl. But I'm a firm believer you don't run it back just because you won a Super Bowl. Pat Riley has something he likes to call the disease of more. So when you win, you want, more recognition, you want more money, you want more minutes, you want more everything. So you got to constantly recycle and bring in guys who are hungry, who haven't won, to keep the guys who have won honest. And this whole idea of just we're going to run it back is just stupid. And I think Tom Brady's one good hit away from being done. And it's coming.
Cameron Jordan going to get him.
Come on, Cameron Jordan. I need you to get him. So I got New Orleans in the division. I just, again, a lot of it, everybody's going to talk about the quarterback situation, but I think, that defense is very good. And I like when Sean Payton comes back and he's hungry and he's got something to prove. That's a scary Sean Payton to me.
Yeah, that's true.
So I'm taking the Saints. And the NFC West, I got Arizona winning the division.
Kyler Murray.
Yeah,
and AJ Green over there on the other side of AJ Green's on the other side of Hop.
Yeah, you got AJ Green. You got Larry Fitzgerald, who's still effective at 79 years old.
39, I think.
Yeah, I got much love for Fitz. But the JJ Watt pickup, I think, is not being talked about enough. Malcolm Butler. In the secondary, it was a good pickup for them. They get Chandler Jones back. Buda Baker is one of the best safeties in the league that doesn't get talked about enough. Yeah, I know he got caught from behind by DK. But Buda's a beast. So I got Arizona winning that division. So it's Green Bay, Washington, New Orleans, and Arizona for me.
See, I want to change my answer because y'all added some fucking knowledge and shit. So I'm gonna actually go Cowboys, man. And I hate doing this as an Eagles fan, but I actually think, and you made a great case for Washington, but I keep hearing all of these rumors about Zeke looking like the old Zeke, and I do actually kind of like Dak Prescott, plus that wide receiver. Core, the receiving corps is nice with CeeDee Lamb. CeeDee Lamb leading the way, but I really like those other guys, the fast dude. I forget Gallup and
Cooper.
Yeah, and Coop. So I think Lamb is going to end up being their star. So I'll go Dallas. I'll keep my Packers guess, but that's the caveat, like you said. Then I'm gonna actually go with Kyler, because you convinced me. I forgot about Hop. I forgot about AJ Green. I forgot about JJ Watt. So I love that. And then with the Bucks, because I can't. It's hard to bet against Brady, man. And they stack. So
yeah, I don't care about that.
But it's hard to beat them. And then I like Godwin a lot. So
yeah, I just the problem I have, and again, I think is going to catch up. That noodle arm is going to show off even more this year because teams are coming for him. And
you might look like Peyton Manning that last year. Last year, that noodle arm.
Exactly. Like, and again, I think the Saints showed the game plan for how you beat Brady and the Bucs. The issue the Saints had in the playoffs wasn't the defense. It was the offense giving the ball away.
Sean, you froze? Hello?
Oh, yeah, I think Sean froze. He did freeze. And, I mean, he has some good points, though. He has good points. Oh, go ahead. Yeah.
Yeah, no, I'm just
Go
saying.
ahead, you good.
I think the Saints showed how you beat the Bucs in the regular season, and they had a good game plan in the playoffs. The issue was the offense and turned the ball over 3 times on their side of the field and giving the Bucs a short field. That's the only reason why the Bucs win the game, because I think Brady only threw for like 198 yards in that game. And it wasn't because he was, pushing the ball like that. It was again the Saints.
When we talk about the Mount Rushmore, would you guys? Because I know it may be too soon, but I feel like both of you guys have convinced me that Aaron Rodgers is now on my Mount Rushmore. Like, I feel confident in saying that Aaron Rodgers is now on my Mount Rushmore. But is he soon to be quickly replaced by Patrick Mahomes?
No.
Okay, so you think that we need to see more rings out of Mahomes, or what do you think it would take for Mahomes to be considered still on this trajectory of what it looks like he may be the new GOAT, the new Brady, the new this, the new, because there's so much hype around Mahomes. Like the argument that you guys made about because that argument is similar to Rodgers. Like the argument that Kenny said, he said, look, every wide receiver, and I do disagree with Davante Adams, but every wide receiver on the Packers was made by Rodgers. Damn near. I mean, yes, Tariq Hill is a freak of nature, but like, what are the other dudes' names? Johnson, the fast boy, I forgot his name. Hardman, Mecole Hardman. Yeah. Those aren't household names. So Mahomes looks like he is creating receivers. What do you think, Kenny? Do you think that Mahomes is the new GOAT?
I said before the Super Bowl, I said if Mahomes had any chance of being the GOAT, he had to win the Super Bowl. You can't have Brady have 7 rings. Mahomes would have had the need to have at least 3 or 4 rings and beat Brady in the Super Bowl for him to be considered the GOAT. So that's as far as Mahomes go. As far as Rodgers goes, I think he does have a good argument to be on the Mount Rushmore. Because he just had his best season ever at the age of 30. At the age of 37, he's the only quarterback to have multiple. Was that 40 touchdown passing touchdowns?
Yeah, with low interceptions.
Three. I think he has 3 seasons with over 40 touchdowns. Yeah, it's 3. But
I think he has the best touchdown to interception ratio of all time.
He does.
Which is crazy.
Yeah, he does. I think so. To answer your question about Mahomes, I think 2 things. Number one, let's see what Mahomes does as his contract extension kicks in and they can't keep all the pieces around him that they've been able to keep. Right. Because right now it's still all good. But, with the NFL, at some point you got to pay the piper.
Yeah.
Let's see what happens when that team has to pay the piper and they're not able to keep, say, a Tyrann Mathieu, for example. And again, I'm a big Honey Badger fan, so I hope he's able to stay there. But, let's just see, kind of what it looks like when they're not able to keep some of those guys and how he does under those circumstances. Like everybody talking about Baker Mayfield right now. Baker Mayfield looks good right now because he's still on a rookie deal. They're not paying him. They're able to keep all these pieces around him. So let's see when Cleveland pays Baker Mayfield, and Cleveland's going to pay Baker Mayfield. It seems like, what does he do once they can't keep everything around him? We've seen it with Aaron Rodgers. I want to see what happens with Mahomes with that. I think he'll be okay, but let's see.
That's fair. I mean, I think that you accidentally made a case for Brady a little bit more because, like, when you look at the Deion Branches and the Troy Browns and I forgot the dude's name, McAfee or something like that. Like these no-name wide receivers, Edelman from Welker to Edelman, from the Aaron Hernandez combo with Gronk. to even now with the little Scottie Miller on Tampa. But I will say that you make a good point. Now, it has been an argument that Baker looks better without OBJ. What would you say to that? Because it seemed like OBJ got hurt and Baker played well.
Well, he was playing well with OBJ, but obviously that team is built around Nick Chubb.
Yes,
and that offensive line, and obviously Kareem Hunt. It's and listen, Kareem Hunt is a starting running back on every other team in the NFL. Obviously, he was a starter in Kansas City. They were clicking when he was in Kansas City, and then he had the issue that they had to cut him. But Baker looks great because what does he not have around him? When you look at what's around him, so so even without OBJ. And again, they ran a lot of play action. They ran a lot of schemes last year where basically he was only having to read literally one side of the field.
Yeah.
So he's not going through, progressions where he's got to get to his, second, third, and fourth.
Rex Bryan calling him out on that, I think.
Yeah. So, and again, that's the reality. So we have to embrace that. And I think Baker's smart enough to recognize how fortunate he is to have what he has around him. That's why I'm saying let's see what he does when they got to pay him. Because again, that bill's gonna come due here soon, and they're not gonna be able to keep OBJ and Jarvis.
What do you guys think of like the top young quarterbacks? Because I'm looking at like these guys like Josh Allen, and I'm looking at Herbert, Justin Herbert. I'm looking at the rookie that came to the Niners, and then Sunshine on the Jacksonville Jaguars. Who do you think is the most promising young QB? Because I've been leaning heavily towards Herbert or Allen, really, but I don't know nothing. I don't know what to expect out of the Jacksonville quarterback. I don't know what to expect out of the Niners quarterback.
Go ahead, John.
Or Justin Fields in Chicago.
I was gonna say, as for any quarterback that hasn't thrown a pass in the NFL yet, I can't have an opinion on them because I seen quarterbacks who we thought was gonna be great. I seen them flopped out. I seen quarterbacks who didn't get all that media hype and they became great. So as for a quarterback that never threw a pass in the NFL, I can't judge them. But
who do you like better out of Herbert and Allen? What do you say out of those two?
I think Allen. Because Allen, he been a quarterback for a couple of years, and you could see that he's starting to get it. He's not afraid to use his feet. He's not afraid to try to run over you, which might hurt him in the long run. But yeah, I like Allen. I don't know what's gonna go on with that guy from LSU. What's his name, Sean? From LSU. He got hurt in Cincinnati. Joe Burrow.
Oh, yeah. Burrow. Yeah.
Yeah, if he come back playing the same way, I like Burrow as well.
They got him Chase. That's his old boy. They played together, so he got his old running mate and Jamar Chase. So yeah, that might be fire.
I think they made a mistake with that.
You think they should have got Smith? You think they should?
I like Higgins. I like Higgins in Cincinnati.
Yeah, I think they should have gotten Penny Sewell, the offensive tackle.
Oh, gotcha.
When your quarterback's been hurt and again you can't protect him, you go overboard to protect him. And I take Sewell, who again could be an all-pro, in 2 years. So what's up, True? So yeah, I just think that was a mistake on their part. But to answer your question, Justin Herbert is the guy who I think I'm watching out for. I like Josh Allen, but I saw Josh Allen his first 2 years and it wasn't very good. And then they get Stephon Diggs and that changes the game. And so, I want to see if Josh Allen can do it again. I don't have them winning that division this year, all honesty. So yeah, but that's just me. So but Herbert, I believe in Herbert a lot. And again, I just think obviously because of the division he's in, everybody's going to talk about Kansas City. But the Chargers, for me, the team, I got them getting in the AFC playoffs as a wild card this year.
Hey,
I'm with you, Sean. I'm with
the
you.
Chargers against
also Mahomes and Herbert had a battle, and that's what I saw a lot out of Herbert. I saw a lot out of him.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Hey, the Chargers gave Kansas City some a pretty good game this year. I forgot which game it was, but
the first game Herbert started.
Yeah, it came down to
he was thrown in the game. He didn't even know because didn't he puncture his lung? He got his lung punctured or some shit.
Wow.
All right, so speaking of wild cards, Sean, who are your 3 wild cards in the NFC?
So obviously Tampa, whatever.
He's like, unfortunately.
Yeah. I have the Rams. The Rams is the other one of my other wild cards. And this may sound crazy, but I have San Francisco as my other wild card. I do not have Seattle making the playoffs. I think the book is out on Russell Wilson. Yeah, I think the book is out on Russell Wilson. And I don't think Russell Wilson is as great as he thinks he is.
As people, the thing about Russell Wilson, he always come out starting the season first 5 or 6 games. How you hear people talking about why he never won MVP, blah.
Right?
It's because
he never got a vote. He never got a vote MVP vote.
Yeah, he don't have one season where he's fully consistent.
Is that on Pete Carroll?
And no, it's on Russell Wilson. Russell Wilson is what he is, right? He's a very good quarterback, but he's not an all-time. He's not a great quarterback because if you notice one thing, Russell Wilson does not do well. He does not throw the ball with anticipation. He does not throw guys open. The Aaron Rodgers thing about making receivers better. Notice how Aaron Rodgers throws guys open.
Yeah. The over the shoulder back pass is mastered.
Yeah. And that's the one thing Russell can't do. Russell makes what Russell Wilson does is he makes great college throws. He'll make the occasional NFL throw, but it's not consistent.
Even those thread the needles to Lockett, like the thread the needle long, or is that just a chemistry between him and Lockett?
He and Lockett have good chemistry. Don't get me wrong, right? And a lot of those plays are on broken plays where
exactly.
Lockett gotten open. He recognizes
they scramble. Yeah, they got a scramble drill.
Scramble plays. They had one play like that on Monday Night Football against the Rams a couple years ago. It was a very good throw by Russell Wilson because again, it was the only place he could put it. But it wasn't
back of the end zone one.
Back of the end zone where only Lockett could catch it. But that's but he doesn't make anticipatory throws. So again, it's that thing where you drop back and as you as a quarterback, making your sight adjustments and the receivers making route adjustments, but you knowing based on, okay, here's the coverage. I need to put this ball here for my guy to get open. He doesn't do that consistently. So I don't think Russell Wilson is an elite thrower, an anticipatory thrower.
Damn, this hurts my feelings.
Yeah. So, and again, there's a reason why they don't let Russ cook.
They don't let him cook.
Yeah, they don't let him cook. Sometimes Russ just need to order out. And order out means hand the ball off and
Chris Carson.
Yeah, hand the ball to Chris Carson or Rashad Penny or whoever's running the ball, for them now. And, and let's make it happen. So, yeah, and also, where's the pass rush? At the end of the day, I don't know where the pass rush comes from.
Sadly, it comes from Jamal Adams, which your pass rush should never come from a fucking safety.
Exactly. Oh, yeah. I just think they missed the playoffs this year.
So does he demand a trade? Should he call it quits in Seattle and look to go somewhere else?
I mean, he could demand a trade. And again, for me, if I'm Seattle, I'm open to trading him. I think he's been very good, but I don't think he's this all-time great he thinks he is.
That's tough, man. Because my perception of him has been of He's underappreciated. He didn't get his MVP votes. Marshawn Lynch should have got the ball at the 1. That destroyed Sherman. Richard Sherman left and all this stuff. So I put a lot of blame on Pete Carroll because I thought he was too much of a player's coach. They liked him. They liked him so much that he was just going to try to keep everybody happy, which is impossible. You need the coach to have a little bit of a dark side, shadow side, where he can tell people no. Belichick will tell you the fuck out of here a year early.
Right. Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah. So Bill Walton. I used to blame Pete Carroll for Russell Wilson's problem.
No, Pete Carroll knows what Russell Wilson is. He knows what he is.
Hey, I'm gonna go Arizona, New Orleans, and Seattle as my division. My wild card teams.
And I agree with Sean on 3 with the Tampa. No, it can't be Tampa for me because I chose them. So I'll say Saints. Then I chose Arizona, so I'll say so it was Saints. It's the same people that y'all chose. Saints. 49ers. I definitely believe in them. And then who was the other one?
Arizona? Oh no, you changed. No.
Yeah, I chose Arizona to win. So
Rams.
Rams. Yeah, Rams. Yeah. So I definitely believe in. I love the young coach on the Rams. And I really do like Stafford, and I really, really like Cam Akers. I really like that running back. Man, he's like a young. He really had a reminiscent, like a bowling ball type effect towards the end of the season, like Maurice Jones-Drew. It was like this dude that just he was like a little wrecking ball. So hopefully they know how to use Cam Akers, and they can mix in the other running backs. What is it, like Henderson and a couple other guys? Hopefully they can do that to where Cam Akers has a good end of the season going into the playoffs.
I'm going to tell you who Cam Akers historically reminds me of, and I said this when he was at Florida State. He reminds me of a young Thurman Thomas.
Oh, Buffalo Bill.
Yeah.
Buffalo Bill.
Like speed and power.
Speed, power, catching. He can take it 80 yards, but that's not necessarily what he's going to do consistently. But he can hit you with the 75, 80-yard run every now and again. But he's just a guy. You get the ball in his hands somehow, some way, and he's going to get positive yards.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, exactly. He falls forward. Like he reminds me of Zeke kind of. So in fantasy, if we were looking at fantasy football, your top 5 fantasy football running backs, would you say that some of these young boys might start upsetting the apple cart, or do you think it's still going to be like your Kamara, number 1, number 2, CMC, number 1, number 2, Derek Johnson, now there's Julio Jones on the other side. So you got Julio, you got AJ Brown, but Derek Johnson gonna run for 2,500 goddamn yards. Like, who do you think are the top 3 or top 5 fantasy running backs? Like, cause I think Derek Johnson, Derek
Henry.
Yeah, Derrick Henry. I think he might go for 2,000 yards with Julio out there.
It's hard to have back-to-back 2,000-yard seasons.
But I don't think they know how to pass. I think that's just like we run the ball. We do it.
Well, that's why I don't think Julio's going to make. I think so. Let me say this: I don't have Tennessee making the playoffs. Their defense is terrible. They got one great defensive player. You don't make the playoffs with that. Yeah. I mean, obviously, Derrick Henry, Kamara, CMC. I look for Saquon Barkley to have coming off the ACL, to have not an Adrian Peterson coming off ACL injury, but he's going to try to reestablish himself as that dude. So I look for him to have a really good season. There's a guy, and you should know who this is, Nelson.
Washington. Miles Sanders. Yes.
Sanders.
I don't know if I trust the Philly coaches. I don't know who the hell this coach is.
Sirianni.
I don't know this guy. I don't know. I don't trust him. And I'm looking at Gibson in Washington as like a young, like He'd be a Kamara style guy.
Yeah, I don't. The only reason why I'm not overly fond of him is because I think they're gonna run him to death.
Okay.
Yeah, until they figure out the other receiver on the other side of McLaurin, I think they're going to be a run first, run last football team with Ron Rivera. And you don't want Ryan Fitzpatrick throwing the ball that much, so because it's Ryan Fitzpatrick. So
right.
So yeah. So
okay, yeah, I can definitely see Barkley finally having the year that everybody's been waiting to see from Barkley. Like that injury was very depressing.
Well, all right, y'all. We're gonna go ahead and wrap it up. Reese, are you following U3 Sports on YouTube?
Yes. I'll make sure I subscribe. I got a bunch of channels, so I'll subscribe with all of them channels.
yeah. Make sure you subscribe. Make sure you watch the sports podcast. I think they're on 6 p.m. No, it's 5 p.m. our time, but it's 6 p.m. daytime.
No, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard.
Oh, 8 p.m. So it's 7 p.m. my time.
8. Okay.
So it's 7 p.m. my time.
Yeah, I'm Texas.
Oh, yeah, we both Texas. But all right, Sean, thanks for coming through. All right, Reezy, thank you for coming through.
Yeah, appreciate you guys, man. Thanks for having me.
Y'all have yourself a blessing.
All right, y'all too.